Oh, beans! Hello. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, you know what? I have this hoodie on, and the literal, like, moment that I sit down to start stream, I'm like, holy shit, it's hot in here. Oh! Good lord, might have to take the jacket off immediately. Anyway, jump scare, yeah, sorry. Hello! Rah! Welcome. My hair, she's a little bit of a mess today. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't look at me. I don't want to be perceived. No perceive. Not allowed. Hello. Anyway, what's up? Yeah, there's so many green names in chat today. What's up, PETA? Hello. We got Noah. What's up? Only like a couple people hanging out in the YouTube chat, which is good. Always love to ignore it like a redheaded stepchild. I'm almost never on time for most streams. This is really the only one that lines up with my schedule. Well, nice, Junebug. I am glad to hear. Hello, Gayfesh. Are you going to cover Oregon's expansion of trans healthcare tonight? Also, UPS workers are making 40 plus an hour. Let's go. Oh, so they're not striking? I did not know that they were not striking. That's exciting. Like, they actually got their demands met, I mean. I wasn't sure what was the deal with Oregon's trans healthcare expansion tonight. Strike averted. Well, fuck yeah, $40 an hour for working in those, like, trucks. That's amazing. That is the best. Hello, Kitty. Welcome in. 2 mayos, 2 more, and I sighed. Oh my goodness gracious, y'all. So that's good to hear that they're gonna, you know, get negotiations started and all this. But yeah, no, I saw that like Demon Mama had posted a video about, yeah, about Oregon's expansion of healthcare for trans people, but I haven't really looked into it personally. Still should be 50 an hour, but a win's a win. I mean, you know, I completely understand the, like, both ends of it. Like, you know, it's not enough money per se for the work that you're doing, considering that the economy is always going up and up and up and up and up. But at the same time, you know, are they getting AC so that I can enjoy it and not die of heat stroke? So I'm gonna have to look into it. Most certainly, I'm gonna have to look into it. What's up, Forrest? No worries for the lurkers. So I know that what they were talking about before was that it was likely that the contract would include AC units in any newly commissioned vehicles, but that it would not require retrofitting of AC to old videos. Yeah. So, unfortunately, I do think that there is a reasonable concern. Hit the like button really quick, by the way, because I didn't expect to do labor right up top, but I enjoy... I don't really have anything to catch up with you on, because I've only seen you like 2 days ago. But here's the thing. Here's my concern about how, you know, we have this win in terms of they are required to do AC in the new vehicles, but on account of the fact that that is a new requirement, and because it costs money, my suspicion of what is going to practically occur is that this is going to create for the company UPS a disincentive to replace vehicles when they need to be replaced. You know, like it already is company policy to run things into the ground until they're no longer functional and then finally replace them. But yeah, so like I think that this will be kind of a difficult thing, you know, in that it does create an incentive. No worries, Timarinia. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, so I'm concerned that what this is going to lead to, it, you know, in the midst of, and not on the fault of the workers at all, to be clear. I'm not faulting the workers for this. I'm saying that the company sucks, because what they're going to do is they're going to put workers in danger by refusing to replace vehicles that absolutely are unsafe to drive. So, yeah, I mean, I personally think that they should be required to retrofit, because holy shit, like, can you believe, oh, Veronica, thank you so much, real quick. Can you believe, like, the idea of having, of like, oh yeah, we got the raise, but all we're getting is a fan installed? Like, oh my God, it is like 110 degrees inside those things. Thank you so much, Veronica, for the gifted subs. For the flex, may the mayo side commence. Amazing, appreciate that. I really love the green motif that we've gone with here. It is definitely my favorite. I haven't decided what my favorite color is. It has changed over the past couple of years. I think it depends on the day. Some days it's purple, some days it's green. That's where I've landed. Some days purple, some days green. I can really appreciate all the other colors, though, so, you know. We really needed a trans win, dear lord. Oliver, the way that you phrased that, like my brain, I'm reading it from kind of far away and my screen is all tiny and stuff. I really thought that you were saying, like, I thought that you were making a doe reference. I thought you said trans deer, and I was like, I mean, yeah, but what did it do? Like, what? I know Doe's been tweeting again. Purple and green? Both, indeed. Oh, God. At some point, it will be more expensive to keep repairing a really old van than to just buy a new one, but I wouldn't be surprised if corporate kept doing it out of pure spite. Yeah, I mean, so it's like a spite thing, and because the company is always looking at the short-term ramifications, you know? This is part of the reason why we've had some issues, as far as I understand it, some of the issues that we've had with the wildfires in, like, California, for example, is that, you know, the infrastructure itself needs to be replaced, okay? Here's me, tradesman, fucking Luxander, coming in, talking about fucking utilities again. But this is like my angle on climate change, is like, so as an electrician. But yeah, like, as I understood it, they were not replacing the infrastructure in California when it comes to the electrical lines, because obviously the amount of money that it takes to invest in, like, brand new, potentially hundreds of miles of aluminum power lines and stuff, like, you know, it's like so expensive in the short term that despite the fact that it would be better in the longer term for the environment and for the shareholders, like in terms of, you know, long-term profits, they care more about the year-over-year profit margin and, like, the year-over-year growth so much that they aren't willing to make those investments, even to the degree of, like, we have fucking wildfires every year in California and, like, all along the West Coast now. So I just don't have a lot of faith that it is. You're correct, Mama Mephistopheles. You're invoking, like, the sunk cost fallacy, right? That, you know, they've already put so much money into this car and they're going to keep putting this much money into this car because they're like, oh, we've already spent the money on it. Or, like, the idea that, yeah, that they would spend less over time if they just got new vehicles. Well, now you've added not only another initial expense in terms of having the cars fitted with AC in the first place, but also another maintenance expense, because now you have to have the Freon filled probably, like, twice a year, frankly, given that the driver is going to be in and out of the vehicle, so heat is going to get in and air conditioning is going to escape, and they work really long days, you know, so, you know, there's just so many potential issues here that I truly do think that the best thing to do in that contract, and the most, frankly, humane thing to do, is to retrofit the fucking vehicles with air conditioning. What's up, Avi? Right now we're talking about UPS. Like, all the UPS workers were talking about potentially striking, but they seem to be getting somewhere in negotiations, right? But I'm just, you know, we're pontificating right now about UPS is saying, yes, we will put AC in the new vehicles, but they're not required to put it in the old vehicles, etc. That's how landlines have all but died out. The phone companies have no intention of paying for the infrastructure upkeep. Yeah, I mean, and this is one of the things that makes there is no monopoly on internet service providers myth so shitty, because you do have so many different cable companies even who, you know, provide internet, and the internet is really low quality. Yeah, exactly. Junebug. Yeah, like they just refuse to upgrade the infrastructure. I've had to switch ISPs before because when I was, like, on the phone transferring service, I was like, okay, I'm moving from this part of the city to this part of the city. And they were like, yeah, we can provide service to your new address. That'll be great. And then the day that they were actually sending a technician out to set up the internet, the internet guy, like, the technician dude, calls up my husband and is all like, they told you that I could get fucking whatever high-speed internet we were paying for at the time. He was like, oh yeah, so they said that I could get you the internet over there? Well, guess what? The nearest waypoint for this company is like half a mile away. So like, honestly, the literal best that you could get at the new address is 3 megabytes down or something like that. Like some crazy nonsense like that. And it was gratifying how mad he was about it. Just some dude, some technician. I guess we wasted his time a little bit, or, you know, the company sort of wasted his time. Shit, I left my water bottle. By, like, sending him out to set someone up for internet that absolutely could not possibly get the quality internet for. So, yeah, I have had to switch ISPs because even within the same city, like, certain zones are really only one company has high-speed infrastructure there. The lines in my area are horrible, and or the internet goes on and out all the time. It's frustrating how they don't update things. Yeah, again, it's about that short-term... If they can charge you 3 times as much for the shitty internet that you... Like, the speeds that you would have been getting 10 years ago, but they're charging you, like, multiple times as much, of course they're gonna do that. Like, of course they're gonna do that. I was early, and yet AFK when stream started. Bonk, bonk, uncomfortable. Terrible. How bad? How dare. I've had like a weird tension headache thing going on kind of all day today, so that's just a fun experience. I think I slept weird on my neck last night, and so I've been having like stiffness all day. Stiffness all day. LOL. Yeah. Ugh. But it's like, it's a weird, like, single spot in the back of my head that's like, nyeh, 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 like an ice pick headache almost, but it's definitely not an ice pick headache. Delete neck. Honestly, delete. Control, Alt, delete. Just, nyeh. I just want to become this. No, I don't. That would be terrible. It would be really hard to deep throat like that. The company wasted everybody's time, overpromise, underdeliver, and hope you're frustrated enough to give up and just go with it. Yeah, absolutely not. My partner at the time was, like, playing games competitively, and, like, my job has been over the internet for years. Like, no. I remember I had a friend in Fuerteventura talked about having trouble with only having one internet provider a while ago. I think that this is a widespread problem across the entire country. Honestly, like... Whether it's your individual small town only really having one ISP, and that one ISP infrastructure is like from 10 years ago, or even within like a bigger city, like, you know, we've got like the greater Kansas City area, and there's like a lot of different municipalities within that. And so like even within one municipality, you'll have like, you know, it's like sectioned off where certain ISPs only provide to certain parts of the town. It's so strange. Our water utilities in the UK are owned by companies elsewhere in the world, and they have dumped sewage into our coastal beaches 300,000 times last year alone. They took subsidies from our government to cover their debt, but hugely increased consumer bills. Like, how is this legal? Like, how and why? What's up, Shade? Like, how and why? I don't understand. That was not what I expected to hear about having no neck. Listen, here's the thing. I'm like in a good place mentally, which I think means that like smuggy chat type stuff is going to happen more often, because I make sex jokes like the better I feel. So occasionally it's just going to happen. It's not a very like asexual friendly stream, if I'm being completely honest. It never has been. Ugh. I'm hoping that I won't have to stop stream for this, because it's, like, pretty irritating. Internet is a human right at this point. Really, like, I mean, how are you gonna apply for a job, or pay your bills, or, like, have any community? I'm asexual and I feel welcome here. No, yeah, Violet, I just meant, like, I know some aces are, like, repulsed and get, like, freaked out about it. Yeah, I like, yeah. Sometimes asexuals don't be liking the sex jokes. They're just so visceral, you know? It's like, it's not just that I make sex jokes, it's that it's very visceral sometimes, but it's whatever. Oh, God. Does everybody have eyeballs? All the ace people I know also do sex jokes all the time. I know a sex-repulsed ace who makes the horniest jokes on the planet. Is it Nizzy? Because I feel like, I thought that Nizzy was like sex-repulsed ace, but they make sex jokes all the time. Oh, no, it's Alora. Okay, okay. Alora and Dizzy both kind of do that thing. Rule number 1 of comedy, sex is funny. True, Venusian, true. What's up, Willow? Many cities pass laws that keeps only so many lines on the poles, like the aerial poles, which means that cable/internet companies negotiate being able to use the city's poles. The problem is those same companies find the candidates that cause that to be necessary. Okay, so that kind of makes... Okay, I have to get my water. That makes sense, though. Like, yeah, because my partner was actually just asking me, we were driving past some utility lines the other day, and there's like the 3 actual electrical lines. There's like 3 of those, you know, and then there's like 2 above that, and he was like, what are those? And I was like, I mean, it's probably like cable or internet or something. So I had never really thought about it, though, because there is a fair few limitations. You know, I'm not a lineman. I did not train to be a lineman, but that was... Like, it's pretty standard most of the time when you see power lines. There's, like, the 3 main ones, and then there might be, like, 2 above that. That's a really good point. And, of course, it's more expensive, although it is also, like, you know, in some ways safer to put lines underground. I can't... Venusian has just invented a guy... Venusian just invented a guy, says, I can imagine someone finding sex so funny it makes it impossible to actually have it without laughing. That does sound fun. IDK where to put neck physical therapy vid, so there you go. I probably just need to do, like, some yoga today. It's because of a global financial law which allows an international company who makes losses in a... takes losses in a country because of government actions to sue them, basically taking away public's money from their government. Oh, God, that's awful. Okay, I have to get my water bottle, okay? If you don't have a water bottle, or a drink otherwise, or a little snack, take care of yourselves. Get yourself a little drink. I already filled my bottle up earlier. I just have to go get it out of the kitchen. Yay! Okay, I'm back. I told you I wouldn't be gone long. I only lost 1 person. Excellent. Perfect. All electrical supplies are 3-phase. Yeah, so yes, correct, Agamotto. There are 3 electrical lines. There's like the 1, 2, 3. They usually are on the same level. And then above that, on the aerial lines, sometimes you'll see like 2 running along. And they're much smaller. Those are usually your utility, like, internet stuff. What's up, Anthony? My goodness. Yeah, it could be phone, maybe. Like, a lot of phone lines are also, like, cable and internet. Like, a lot of the time, that'll be one package deal. Sort of depends on where you live, of course. But, yeah. Ooh, licorice and peppermint tea. Ooh, that sounds really yummy. That sounds like it would be really, like, soothing. And... aromatic. They're just there for the aesthetic. Yeah, we just put up like a bunch of metal lines through the air for the aesthetic. It's so that the birds have somewhere to sit. You know? Desalius, hey, congratulations. I finally was able to move out of my transphobic parents' house. And last week I went to a wedding in femme clothes. First time being in public. I was nervous as hell, but had a good time. That's fucking awesome. I hope that the wedding was fun. I hope that you are having a good time in your new place. Moving is stressful, but it lets us get to our goals, you know? Speaking of moving, I'm probably going to be doing that before too terribly long. I'm not exactly sure what the timeline is going to be, but yeah, I'm going to be like rearranging all of this. I have no idea what the background is going to be like. We will figure it out. I have no idea. I need to find a new place and will probably not tell certain people where I went. Truly. Anthony has made a poignant reminder in the YouTube chat. Anthony says, don't forget to like the stream, everyone. Maybe we should actually move into talking about some stuff that's going to be a little bit more entertaining than just catching up on things. Because I sometimes wonder, I'm like, am I wasting this first hour of the stream by, like, talking about whatever bullshit, you know? Like, maybe we should save the bullshit until the end? But I like doing the thing. Like, I enjoy this warm-up time. Liked and subbed. Good. Yes. Vamping is not a waste. Well, so here's what I mean. If I title the stream something like political, you know, like trans bathroom wins, or like Trump indicted, or like, you know, if I put that as the stream title and then people come in and then they dip because that first hour, like, you know, the stream gets sent to a decent number of people, there's still a decent amount of traffic on YouTube, like it tapers down toward the evening. And so I'm always curious, like, do people come into the stream, see that I am not talking about the topic that is on the title, and then like dip in that first hour in a way that, like, you know, would the stream be more successful over its longevity if more people who come in during the first hour stay? And that maybe it could be better for the stream health overall, but I haven't really experimented with that because I enjoy doing this warm-up so much. Have you ever thought of green screens as a background? No, I mean, it's just not my thing. I get it, like, you know, it's good. I have a green screen. I'm gonna use it to take photos soon, but, yeah, it's just not my thing. I would much rather set something up nice. I know that we've talked about, like, the paganism and, like, changing things out seasonally type thing, which I've sort of messed around with doing before. We will see. I'm gonna be negotiating a new space before too long, and we'll figure it out. The first hour, we should talk about dicks. The entire time, the entire first hour, only dicks. True. It helps my socially anxious ass to settle in, having the chill hour at the beginning. I originally came here for the political content, but I enjoy the slow first hour too. That's good to hear. Alright, I mean, I wasn't, like, planning on changing anything. I just know that there are potential things I could be doing better. I mean, but this is, like, the thing about being a leftist who doesn't want to sell out, basically. Like, I know that if I detransitioned, I would be more successful. If I, you know, grifted in a certain way, I would be more successful. But I'm not really here just for that, you know? I'm here to have a good time. And that means not being disingenuous. On the one hand, Dix is missed, but on the other hand, I am detaching mine, so... Oh, no, yeah, you got your sub again. We got gifted subs! Nothing but talk about people named Richard. Like Richard Nixon? Do I know the names of any other Richards? I don't know if I know any other famous Richards. There's not very many actors named Richard, are there? Dick Van Dyke. I mean, that's true. King Richard. Fair enough. Oh, Richard Dawkins. Yeah, I forgot about Dick Doc. Oh, man. Oh, I forgot about him. He has been going down the transphobia pipeline lately, too. I should have done a segment about that. Like, I should pay attention to Richard Dawkins and talk about him, because I did kind of, like, come from the atheist space, and I do have, like, some people in my audience who are like, you know, who know me through Mr. Atheist and things like this. Baby Squid, thank you so much for that tier 1 sub. I thought I set this to auto-renew. Well, anyway, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. We are well on our way to being able to flex today. Almost halfway there. And look, this time I'm censored. So this way, if I fuck with my hair, if I do this, I'm not gonna accidentally flash you any of my sexy muscles. They're totally covered. Sag. Richard Dawkins was one of the first people to get me to question religion. Him and Hitchens. Dude, Hitchens was crazy bad too. I have his audiobook. I think it's narrated by him, so I've had it for a while, but I have an audiobook of God is Not Great, How Religion Ruins Everything by Christopher Hitchens. And I was on it, right? I was like in it. And then at some point, like 2/3 of the way through the book, he's talking about feminism and abortion, and like he just kind of offhandedly ridicules an argument that many feminists make in support of abortion. And I was like at work, you know, listening to my headphones or earbud or whatever, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, Hitchens? I think he was dead by then, but he definitely, yeah. Can you imagine how bad Hitchens would be today if he was alive? Bro, he would be so fucking... He would be so right-wing. He would be super, super right-wing. He was legit good on religion and nothing else. The Second Amendment says you have a right to bear arms. Don't give in to woke censorship. No. I don't want to get arrested for these unlicensed guns. Anyway. If you think Christopher Hitchens is fucked, get yourself a load of his still alive brother Peter Hitchens. I've heard... Yeah, do not get yourself a load. I was gonna make a smuggy. But yeah, I guess I've heard of Peter Hitchens. I just don't know anything about him. Hitchens would have endorsed Boris Johnson. Whew. That's strong. That's a strong statement. I was changing and realized a year of trying not to do anything purposefully, upper body, has not yet worked, and I'm still pretty muscular and toned in my arms. I'm kind of glad because I'm going to start working on some sort of muscle mommy life. We are fully in support of the muscle mommy life. I'm trying out some new gyms right now, because the gym that I was going to was just, like, not really meeting my needs. And it's like an exciting and scary time a little bit. I'm like, ooh, no, I don't know anyone here. Muscle mommies in training, rise up! Peter Hitchens is a traditional conservative. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Peter Hitchens is just Chris, but more pretentious. That's impressive. Frankly, that's very impressive. Stuff like this is why fascists are trying to get rid of the liberal arts. They want to ensure everyone is too dumb to tell when someone is obviously arguing in bad faith and just trust people if they have authority. They're definitely trying to sabotage, like, the concept of critical thinking. Muscle mommy is difficult to obtain when you have ADHD. I'm gonna switch up what time of day I go to the gym a little bit too to see if I can find something that works better. Oh my god, Peter Hitchens is anti-divorce? I didn't really understand that there were people who were actually anti-divorce still alive today until the recent stuff with Steven Crowder and his wife, you know? The gym is gross, join a dojo. They usually have most of the gear too. I don't know that there are any dojos. Guy, like, I'm already having to drive a bit to find, like, good gyms, you know what I mean? I think a lot of my muscle retention is me push mowing my half-acre lawn. I mean, that would definitely contribute. I still don't get how people can be pro-marriage when people with disabilities can't get married without losing benefits in most places. I mean, I think that it's a little bit strange to say that you can't be pro-marriage just because, like, certain people have limitations on their... Like, you know, legally speaking, like, a married couple is one financial entity. So, like, it kind of makes sense why they have the limitations that they do. Although, like, at the very minimum, it should be means tested. Like, it shouldn't be automatic. But, like, yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm anti-marriage just because certain people don't have access to the institution. But like, I think the more interesting question is like, do we think that, you know, marriage is an unfairly privileged position? And like, you know, because only certain people have access to it, like that does unfairly privilege certain types of people. So yeah, like if only straight people can get married, then like that means that they have a financial benefit in that they can file taxes together and get a pretty enormous, it's a pretty significant difference tax-wise, filing single versus filing married. Yeah, exactly, Venusian. A lot of places, again, still not allowing gay marriage, but the positive position is generally improving marriage to include more people. Agamotto says, I live 5 to 10 pounds, 900 to 1,200 times a day. Very lean arms. Yo, you would be so toned. You wouldn't be bulky, but you would be toned. And my goal is to get bulky, so the fun thing about the stream goal being that I flex my arms is that you've been able to see over the course of the last 6 months or however long it's been since I started strength training, like, my arms are physically getting bigger. My shoulders and my back muscles and stuff are, like, physically getting bigger. I've been divorced twice. It can privilege you financially, but so can getting a roommate. Well, but they're different, right? You know, getting a roommate, you still file taxes single, so you don't get, like, the increased benefits. But we could also say, like, you know, you could also make the argument, I guess, that having children, you know, is incentivized in certain ways by the government, because you also have financial benefits tax-wise from having children. Like, you don't have to pay as much tax if you have dependents. And I think that a disabled spouse counts as a dependent, so you would get a tax benefit still, despite the fact that you wouldn't have their income. Yes, and you don't need to hire a lawyer to ditch your roommate. Can you declare a domestic partnership with your bestie? I don't know what the... I don't think that they have, domestic partnerships in many places in the US anymore. Like, when you have marriage, I don't actually know. Like, domestic partnerships were set up as a, like, separate but equal but still discriminatory construct for gay people to enter into. So, I don't know. I think if you were just trying to do a contract with your bestie, you might as well just appoint them, like, your power of attorney. Okay, Violet. I gotta say, like, speaking like a Canadian, saying it absolutely does punish people who adopt kids versus giving birth, because adoption usually costs money that giving birth doesn't in most places. But, I mean, so that's first of all, it's a completely separate question to what I was talking about. I was talking about tax benefits. You have a dependent or you don't. So whether you adopted your kids or gave birth to them, people with children get a tax benefit, right? But in the United States, giving birth usually costs, like, a minimum of several $1,000s. And that's, like, assuming that your fucking insurance stepped in. But yeah, this is like why I have landed on the anarchist position, is because why is the state making investments in certain types of families and lifestyles? Truly, like, this is the good question. Oh, I did not see that Poppy is out of surgery. I saw that Gay Fesh was live tweeting it, or, like, giving updates, but I didn't know that she was out. They are out? Multiple peoples? But yes, that's good to hear that she's out of surgery and hopefully doing well. Hopefully no complications and all that shit. I mean, yeah, the surgery part, the danger is, like, the random heart stopping in surgery. So yeah, that's really good. Yes, and legal restrictions on being a guardian as an adoption versus giving birth. Yeah. Yeah. Can we stick to one? Holy shit. I saw a big blue dragon silhouette sticker on a white SUV yesterday at a Walmart parking lot. That's pretty cute. I purchased a pin, and it's not on my desk right now, and I'm not gonna go try to find it, but I've been purchasing some dragon pins because I'm gonna, like, put together an outfit for Renaissance Festival, and it is gonna involve having, like, little dragons on my shoulders. So I'm excited about that. Good stuff. Yeah, but it's so exciting to hear that Poppy is doing well. Just getting out of surgery. Surgery. I think I may have mentioned it before, but the, no, you're good, Valhalla. I may have mentioned it before, but I was thinking about messaging Xander Hall and seeing if he would want to talk about trans surgeries with me, because he mentioned in a show recently on his channel that he was like, I don't know all the details. And I was like, oh man, that would be a great opportunity to just, like, get to fucking info dump about trans surgery and stuff. They said it themselves, didn't they? Marriage is between a man and a woman literally means creating a government structure to shape society into nuclear family units. Right, yeah. Like, I remember when I had my conversation with Heem a while ago, like, one time I went on Heem's show, and we were talking about, like, a trans girl who had dropped out of school. Like, she basically was not being permitted to use the bathroom, and she dropped out of school, right? And, like, Heem was talking about how, first of all, hit the like button since you're here. If you're enjoying hanging out, even if you're gonna leave, hit the like button before you go. He was, like, talking about truancy laws, you know, and the idea, I know, like, the idea that the state has a vested interest in, like, forcing you to go to school. And I'm like, now that I've thought about it for longer, I'm like, but I mean, yeah, there is a societal interest in having fucking, like, educated adults, like an educated populace, right? Like, there is a societal interest in that. But, like, the state being interested in that and, like, being willing to enforce it in this way where it is a criminal act, at least for the parents, it's a criminal act to not force your kids to go to school. And then, like, conversely, the fucking homeschooling situation is, like, not at all monitored. And you could basically just, like, not educate your kids or, like, teach them a bunch of fucked up stuff about religion and Christianity and all this and not actually educate them beyond what they would need to know for their GED explicitly. Like, oh God, fucking Christ. I mean, maybe the opportunity would be to tell cis people that they don't actually need to talk about our surgeries. Like, no offense to Xander Hall, but I feel like cis people need to be taught that our genitals are not things for them to publicly discuss like they're ogling us. Well, okay, I was approaching it more in terms of, like, well, so for context, the original conversation that was being had, he wasn't speculating about trans genitals, although he has before done that, like when he was talking about ContraPoints a few years ago. I think he's learned that that's kind of weird and creepy. But he was talking about the Soul Bunny conversation with Demon Mama. I was watching him responding to the Demon Mama Soul Bunny conversation, and he was talking about the, like, he was asking, you know, do trans girls take progesterone or something? I can't remember what he was asking, but it was a hormone-related question. And he was saying, I know broadly that women take estrogen and men take testosterone, but I don't know what the names of any of these medicines are or, like, any of the details. And so when I say I'm thinking about asking Xander Hall if he wants to ask me questions about, like, trans surgery and stuff, I'm just taking that whole conversation about hormones, which is where he was starting at. He was saying, like, I don't know what the names of these medicines are, or, like, or no, the question was about injections. Yeah, he was like, do you inject your hormones? And that was the question that he had. So I'm like, oh yeah, that would be an opportunity to let him know, like, yes, there is a pill option for estrogen, but you really can't take a pill for testosterone because it'll destroy your liver, etc. So yeah, it's not that he was speculating about genitals, but, like, I do want to, I guess, dispel some of the myth around trans people and our bodies. Like, whether or not we like it, the mainstream conversation is about mutilation of genitals. Like, that is what the mainstream kind of conversation is about trans bodies and like trans lives in the media right now. And, you know, on the one hand, you can say, stop being curious about our bodies and like the intense process, like, you know, the curiosity about that. You know, you can say that that's bad, and like it is. It's, you know, it's invasive. But at the same time, like, if you answer those questions and dispel the mystery, or I mean, maybe even indulge like the, like, you know, the fact that it's fascinating, you know, be willing to say, yeah, this is amazing, isn't it? Like, this is incredible, the fact that you can do this. But like, dispelling that mystery means that people aren't going to ask. And like, if I'm willing to publicly educate, that's also not the same thing as like someone independently being like, what are your genitals? Tell me about them. I thought pills destroy your liver in general. What makes estrogen pills more dangerous? Okay. I said estrogen pills are a thing, but you can't take pills for tea because tea will destroy your liver if it goes through in a pill form. It's like a specifically toxic thing to process through your food liver processing system. Yeah, I'm so used to hearing cis people talk about their gruesome misinterpretations. Well, yeah, so that's the thing. Yeah. Like, I want to provide an opportunity to, you know, educate on that. And then, you know, then Xander Hall from that point forward can speak from a position of authority, and like, he can then make more effective arguments against all of these, you know, all this really intense transphobic rhetoric, like, if we're being completely honest. So I do think it would be good to spread more awareness of that, because we talk about it here all the fucking time. Although, to be fair, yeah. Oh, what's up, Mersh? I don't talk about, like, vaginoplasty as much. Like, I do know stuff about it, but just not as much, by virtue of the fact that I don't need to have that surgery. I wish tea could be taken orally. It'd be so much easier, Lamau. I just wish that the fucking topical option wasn't so much more expensive. TT, yes, the TT. I'm giving you the T on T. I wouldn't mind talking about AFAB anatomy in general, because lots of misconceptions there still. I mean, yeah, like, fucking frankly, there is still an amount of mystery around, like, the female orgasm, and like, what is the G-spot even, and what is squirt? Is it even real, or is it just pee? You know, like, frankly, there are a lot of misconceptions and stupid conversations surrounding that shit anyway. I take estradiol by injection, since pills apparently tax your liver over time, but that's just a precaution, I think. Some folks who are bad with needles stay on pills or patches forever. Right. There are different conversations to be had about which ones are more efficacious. People tend to think that, like, you know, it started working for them better when they switched from pills to injections. People have different needs, etc. I wish even half of the amount of news about trans people in sports would be replaced by actual discussion with doctors about what transition is and how it works. I hate that so much of the discourse is the stupidest aspects instead of talking about the parts of life that are most interesting to talk about. Are we going to do any political tests? Maybe. I'm not totally sure. I mean, probably like later, if we're going to have time at the end of the stream, we'll do like a couple political compass tests. But it was mostly like y'all were talking about it in the Discord, which, by the way, if you're not a member of the Discord, there's been some like more active conversation there lately. People have been getting into the voice chat to like chit chat in there. You can post your suggestions if you want to make stream recommendations. There's a channel for that. If there's something you'd like me to talk about, I can cover it. It's a good chill location. One of my mods is trying to start like a TTRPG thing where, like, if you want to, you can join in on like some one-shot tabletop gaming type things. Yeah, amazing how we hear so much about basic anatomy, but motherfucker, I took the same courses and we didn't learn shit about AFAB anatomy. Venusian says, yes, more people should use the voice chat. Oh, God. Time to call out the gastrointestinal tract for its transphobia for making oral hormones so shitty. Yeah, truly. Oh my gosh, drink water, y'all. Fucking hell, it's hot. Yeah, Kitty, if we're taking a political compass test, we're doing it for fun. Not because I think that it's gonna illuminate anything. It's like, to me, I'm like, let's play political compasses. Have you heard? Oh god, I did see this. Oh god. Maybe I did. Oh shit. Have you heard this week-long discourse on Twitter about washing your period blood-soaked panties in the public sink? Believe it or not, this started with somebody trying to dunk on trans people using the right bathroom. So I saw that this has blown up, and I'm aware that this is a thing that TERFs have invoked for a long time, right? Like, for a very long time, TERFs have been saying, for several years, I mean, TERFs will say, oh my god, trans women shouldn't be in the bathrooms with real women, quote unquote, because there are things about being a woman that you don't want a man to see. Like, oh, if you need to, like, if you have to wash out your period-covered panties in the sink or something, like, that's so embarrassing. And, like, I guess I never really thought about it because of how fucking stupid that is. Like, I mean, I guess, like, first of all, I was like, well, it's weird to rinse your panties out in the sink. Like, you wouldn't do that, right? You would just suffer. I can't imagine. I've literally, it never has occurred to me. A person who, I've had periods since I was 13, and now I am almost 30 years old. It has never occurred to me once, even when bleeding onto my panties, that I should go rinse them out in the sink. But, yeah, so, and I got so hung up on the fact that it's stupid for you to suppose that trans women can't handle seeing blood. Like, oh no. But, yeah, it's, like, disgusting, actually. Like, so this is what the conversation is on Twitter, as I understand it right now, is that people are now pointing out, like, actually, it's just fucking disgusting to rinse your blood-soaked panties. It's like a literal biohazard. You can't control, like, the spray of it flicking around everywhere. Like, you don't have any bleach. Usually you wipe off blood with bleach or some other really intense cleaner like that. Is standing at the sink with your bare ass hanging out washing your period blood-soaked panties the AFAB equivalent of those dudes who drop their pants all the way to the floor when they use the urinal? I guess I always imagined that, like, they're wearing a skirt and so you can't see, or, you know, you'll pull up your pants and, like, temporarily pull up your pants with no undies and then go clean your undies in the sink. But, like, yeah, it's a literal fucking biohazard. As an aside, Lux, a woman in my state just made the news for killing herself accidentally by drinking too much water. Water kill. Water kill. How much water would you have to drink in order to kill yourself? Like, it would have to be so much water. I feel like I'm so thirsty all the time, you know? Yeah, I mean, I guess, is it like a drowning on the cellular level that happens here? Oh my god, that's true too. Baby Squid points out, unless you have a spare set of underwear, surely that also means spending a long time at the hand dryer. Yeah, what happens when you, like, it's not gonna be dry, right? Like, if you wash it out in the sink, I believe it's over 5 gallons. Okay, I should be all set, because I think that we established that 2 liters is, like, only just a little bit more than 1 gallon, and I've never, ever gotten close to drinking 5 of these. Imagine the walls around the sink, though. Exactly, Valhalla. Yeah. It's water toxicity, your blood gets too diluted and starves the nervous system of sodium and stuff. Oh my god. I really don't understand TERFs. They're just, like, really disgusting women. Have you ever noticed this? Like, how fucking, like, viscerally disgusting they are? The kind of stuff that they think about? Like, that TERF once who was like, I've given birth to several children, and now I I can't, like, sneeze in public without pissing all over myself. This is what it means to be a woman. Like, oh my god, you people are disgusting. Symptoms of water intoxication tend to start appearing after you consume more than 3 to 4 liters of water in a few hours. Well, good. TERFs are all chronically online. They're all just so gross people. Crazy. Crazy. So many TERFs are jealous of trans women. I mean, let's be real. A lot of cis women are very clocky. Like the cis women who are TERFs are very clocky, you know? Plenty of cis women are clocky, too. I think I already mentioned this last week, but I saw a picture of Ronda Rousey and was like, who's that clocky bitch? And then I was like, ah, it's transphobe Ronda Rousey. That's ironic. Isn't that ironic? Oh. I'm convinced that TERFs are mostly women who peaked in high school. That's fucking savage. Yeah, TERFs are fucking creepy. They also, like, weirdly fetishize, like, the teenage breasts of potentially trans men who want to have them removed. Like, anyone who defines their minority status entirely through the lens of suffering will inevitably become awful people who police and dismiss other people's experiences. Everything is so bad for me, it couldn't possibly be bad for anyone else. Anyway. Oh, it's been about an hour now. Maybe we should look at some of the links. The links that I have today. It's like rain. Anyway. It's been a little bit rainy here in Kansas, like, on and off this past week or two. Girl, I'm enjoying it. We don't usually get this until, like, late September, early October, though, so... Although it's not cold yet, so, like, we'll have the cold rain, hopefully, in October. Delicious. So we do have a couple of stories tonight. One is a report, a small study of, like, 130 or so trans people, trans and non-binary patients, regarding their regrets over top surgery. We'll look at that. We had golf ball-sized hail in Virginia. Ooh. And then we have 2 bathroom wins. One is a Trump-appointed judge, and the other is the 7th Circuit. So, trans bathroom wins. That's what the title of the stream is about. Anna Kasparian has been, like, losing her fucking mind, too, so maybe we could meme about that. I'm probably not gonna do, like, a proper segment about it or anything. Speaking of proper segments, I just want to say really quick, hey, I love getting donos during streams. That's, like, the most directly, like, beneficial thing for you to do during the stream, but I also just want to say my Patreon also has, like, free content over there, so it's not just that you can pay for, like, access to stuff over there. It's also just, like, I put free content out that way nowadays, so... Feel free to check that out. I'm gonna try to, like, mention it more often because, you know, I want to start focusing on Patreon a little bit more. I just want to do more over there. But yeah. For sure, Anna has some major Vosh derangement syndrome, and she's blocking everyone except Vosh. I wonder if she hasn't blocked me yet. I did tweet at her earlier, but everybody always seems to ignore me. Like, whenever you see one of those posts going around that's like, so-and-so seems to have blocked every trans person on the platform, I never get caught up in those. People just do not give a flying F. No Fs. No. Yeah, I'm still not blocked. I've seen her fighting with Vosh, but IDK what the tiff is actually about. I mean... Vosh basically called her a retarded bitch for being, like, transphobic in her rhetoric. You know, she's been spiraling out more and more about the, like, birthing person stuff. Like, she hasn't stopped talking about that nonsense, right? So Vosh, like, tried to reach out privately, and she didn't respond, and now, like, she went on the show and was like, You're garbage, Vosh. That's the reason why I don't want to talk to you. So, yeah, we could watch the video of, like, her calling him garbage. I was watching it on Vosh's channel earlier, actually. It's like rain on a sunny day. Yeah. Yeah, and yo, I know. Yeah. She pulled out the clip from the Thought Slime meltdown. Like, she told him that he was garbage, and then went, oh my god. She told him that he was garbage, and then he started responding to it on Twitter, and she said something about him snorting Adderall during stream, like, and calling him a drug addict, basically. And then he started teasing her about that, and her response then was to, instead of acknowledging the part where she accused him of being a drug addict, he has ADHD, she just pulled out the Thought Slime stream from, like, fucking how long ago? 4 years? Was it 4 years ago? Was it in 2019? The stream where he was like, all these non-binary people who are yelling at ContraPoints are fucking mentally ill and deranged. And, like, here's the thing. People have construed that for years as being him saying all trans people are mentally ill. And, like, no. He was saying these trans people who are engaging in this harassment campaign against Natalie Wynn are mentally ill and deranged. And you can, like, grapple with that on its own. You can grapple with whether it's okay to accuse online mobs of being full of mentally ill, deranged, delusional people, right? It is a different thing to fucking ignore the actual problem with what he said and, oh my god, this gnat, I'm gonna fucking kill myself, dude. Like, get the fuck out of my face. To, like, misconstrue that as he's saying all trans people are mentally ill and deranged. I'm like, are you for real about this? We're rolling out the classics, Anna Kasparian, rolling out the classics here. Snorting addies during unhinged streams. Anyway. So yeah, that's like TLDR, the Anna Kasparian nonsense that's going on right this moment. I'm gonna kill the gnat, dude. I kill the gnats. They fucking fly into my nose. True, how long until she pulls out the pedo clips? I keep hearing snorting, but did he ever actually do that? Seems unlikely. No, like, if you have a prescription for Adderall, you just fucking take the pills. When you, it's like, it's literally only drug stigmatizing language to accuse us of snorting Adderall. He takes 10 milligrams Adderall, probably just takes a pill. He might take it during stream. It's the lowest dose for an adult. Yeah, I take Ritalin like 5 milligrams twice a day is what I'm supposed to take. So like 10 milligrams total. But yeah, he takes like a small dose of Ritalin and he weighs fucking like 200 pounds. So it's like, yeah, he's not on a big dose, and she is just using the most stigmatizing possible language to portray him as, like, some kind of druggie. Keffels was saying, like, how long before she turns on me or whatever, and then someone responded, and Keffels was like, oh yeah, the thing is that she would call me a drug addict. Like, that's the... If she were to attack me, it wouldn't be for being trans, it would be for being in rehab recently. Yeah, it's ableist. I saw that, yes, no, I saw that Anna blocked Keffels because Anna was tweeting about this and Keffels was like, is this you, Anna? And it was a compilation of a bunch of times, I didn't know this, but Anna just straight up says the N-word on stream a lot. Like, on their show. And Jenk does too. It's usually as an example. Like, they're quoting someone, but like, if you have a show... where you are being recorded either on video or on a audio recording, like, even for the sake of example, just let me tell you a little bit of wisdom. Don't say the N-word. Like, I mean, you know, you don't really need to. The overwhelming majority of the time. TYT used to have the policy of not censoring the word that they recently changed. I've never heard them say that in all the years I watched that. I can send you the link, Ferret Girl, but I cannot show you the video. I'll send you the link of the compilation. Like, I'll definitely do that. Keffels. Tweets and replies. Okay. I will send you the link, and you can watch it yourself, but I will not be showing it on stream. Just, I was giving that to someone in YouTube chat, but just for the sake of consistency, I'll put it in the website chat as well. Yeah.
Nick.
Nope. Oh no. Jank! Oh no. Oh my god, I'm so hot. Oh no. I just clicked into the tab to like exit out. Oh no. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm okay. I'm okay. Oh god. I didn't really know anything about TYT until recently, but that they didn't censor the N-word explains a lot. Someone please clip that. That was so funny. I'm not gonna remember later. Oh my gosh. Yeah, milliseconds. Just milliseconds from being canceled. Oh my god. Did she say the F slur during that video? I only watched the first, like, 5 seconds where they said the N-word, like, a few times, you know? Here's a video about homosexuality, but can be relevant to being trans. What is this? Oh, is it a documentary? Okay. Neat stuff. Bro, that was so fucking funny. Oh my god. Alright. We're good. Jesus Christ. Let me go ahead and change this so that I can hear through my headphones. Like, just for funsies, you know, let's watch Anna call Vosh trash, because this is so fucking funny, dude. I didn't like the outrage news at the Young Turks. It seemed too much like Fox, yelling all the time. Yeah, it's got that same type of vibe. By the way, hit the like button if you want to see Anna calling Vosh trash. Oh my god. By extension, actively not knowing anything about them. Yeah. If you just actively ignore them, then you won't know anything about anyone. Okay, where's the video of her calling him trash? Because I could just watch it on Vosh's channel, but I know that that's going to turn some people off. Okay, here we go. Yeah. I got it. I found it. I got a lot of tabs open. Don't fucking talk to me about how many tabs I got open, okay?
Tells people that he thinks highly of bitches and the R word. Is that what he does? That's what he does?
Yeah, he's got a curious way of showing that high regard, but feels justified in informing his audience that he disagrees and was shocked by the response he got for Anna.
Listen, I think Vosh is trash. Okay? And if you actually genuinely do watch Vosh on a regular basis, you also know he's trash. Which makes me wonder, why do you keep writing into—
Vosh's response to that was just like, and I am trash. Yeah, he was like, yes, I am garbage.
to us, urging us to have that trash on our show. And yes, Vosh, I think you're garbage. I think you're trash. Found a lot of interesting things about what you had to say about the transgender community. Tried to scrub the internet of those videos.
As soon as she said this, I knew. I was like, oh no, she's bringing it back. We're rolling the classics. She's bringing it back. All the way back to the Thought Slime stream.
Really curious why you thought it was okay to say the kinds of things about them that you did, including the fact that you think that they have mental illness, they're struggling with mental illness, that's what this is about, they're the most toxic people on the internet. I've got the receipts. I'm ready to show them. But calling me a bitch turf.
I mean, you are kind of being a dumb bitch right now. Like, yeah. Have you met trans people?
Because I just don't think that it's, you know, politically advantageous to refer to women as birthing people or people with a uterus. That's terrible. I can't do that.
So, okay, so she's still being a fucking idiot because the proposition is not to call women birthing people. It's to refer to any person who is giving birth, including non-women, as, God, okay, listen. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. Vosh is 100% justified in calling her a retarded turf bitch. Like, I just think that that's a completely justified thing for him to say. She's being stupid on purpose. Like, Suris covered this. I've had knee-jerk opinions about Vosh, but I've never actually watched because I had a bad reaction to him. Yeah, I don't really care if you like Vosh or not. Like, that's not really, you know, like, any of you all, you know, I know that like, he's a contentious figure and everything. Like, I get it. I have understood every point that he's ever tried to make, at least, like, after he's addressed some of the ones that, like, yeah, he really was against xenogender pronouns at first, and then he fucking thought about it for 10 seconds. Like, almost every time, I have understood what he's trying to say, and, like, other people are misconstruing him, and that's fine. And, like, some people don't like how brusque he is, and that's fine. Yeah, support Vosh calling women slurs. I mean, ultimately, it's, like, about who you like better, you know? You all hang out here because you like me personally. It might have something to do with my takes. It might have something to do with the political analysis that I bring and the perspective that I bring, but ultimately at the end of the day, you are here because you like me as a person. And I don't like have any illusions about that. Like, that is what the parasocial relationship is. It's that you enjoy my company. Even if someone is making content about something that you care about, and even if they are based and fucking blue-pilled and correct on every single issue, I know I said blue-pilled, like, you are not going to watch someone who you don't enjoy. Excuse me. She's proving Vosh's point. Honestly, sometimes his purposeful arrogance is really annoying. I know it's performative. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I am kind of doing myself, so I can't criticize Vosh for it. I kind of love the intoxicating sensation of being correct and, like, posturing correctness as well, you know? And I do take on the criticisms, you know, I've changed my habits and behaviors about certain things, but it is kind of its own sort of powerful. I guess I'm also a femme, so it's a little bit different for me to just be like, yes, I am actually correct, and you will not question me. Yeah, I love it when you do it, though. Yeah, like, same behavior comes from a different place, comes across different. Hardcore classic WoW permadeath streams when, by the way. Listen, I am actually about to be in a situation where, like, I honestly think that my partner wants to get me a new video card so that I can continue to, like, be better on my better computer, better parts and everything. So frankly, gaming streams might be a little bit more on the table. Also, in, like, at my partner's place where I'm gonna be moving soon, the fucking air conditioner actually works. Do you have a Switch? I do have a Switch. I do have one of those. I definitely enjoy you, but you are also transition goals. I want that androgynous break someone in half look, maybe slightly more femme. Yeah, I want to dress more femme. I need more stuff. I do not have Mario Party. I do not. I don't know how much it is, or I should go get it. Posturing correctness is all well and good, but correct posture is far more important. You say to me as I'm all the way leaned over, like, oh, I should be upright more. People need to get Mario Party. I want to run a Mario Party stream. I'll have to look into it. I'll see how much it costs. Also, hello, Silent. Hello. TYT is peak arrogance as well. Being toxic assholes is their brand. Yeah, let me see the rest of this video, because I don't even know if I watched all of this earlier. I don't find that feeling you're describing intoxicating. I find it terrifying, like standing on a haphazardly stacked pillar of furniture. Being correct and posturing about it, I mean. Well, I guess it also helps that I do genuinely, like, feel truly... like, I feel truly good about my skills and my competence level. So I guess, like, for me, it is only... the posturing is only slightly exaggeratory on how I actually feel. Like, how I actually feel is I have it together more than almost anybody I know. Like, I have spent a lot of time working really hard. I think in most situations where I am caught up in a conflict, I am not the problem. So, like, I just... and, like, I have demonstrated to myself repeatedly that if I set my mind to something, I can just fucking do it. Like, I got fired, to be completely clear, last year. And I was like, okay, well, shit, I don't know what to do. So I'm just gonna start streaming and, like, treat this like my full-time job. And I just can do this now. I don't make a crazy amount of money. I owed a lot of money in taxes last year. But, frankly, like, I like, repeatedly demonstrate to myself when I'm put in a challenging situation that I'm capable of, like, fucking crushing it. So, you know, the posturing part is only, like, exaggerating that feeling that is true for effect on stream, you know? It literally, how I feel knowing my enemies are ontologically evil and no act against them can be wrong. I know the it's autism argument can rile people up, but I see old vids of Vosh putting his foot in it, and my god, it reminds me so much of the times when I've lost it and gone big-time autist. He is retarded. You know, there's no arguing that. Vosh is fucking retarded, okay? Holy shit. Not quite halfway. This is like a 64-ounce thing, and I'm not quite to the halfway point. Also, 2019, Vosh was trying so hard to be Destiny. Someone's gonna clip that. I hope so. Truly, the day that I have haters who clip me out of context and push that shit on Twitter, like, that's the day that you know I've made it. I've had people make fan art of me. I would like it if people remixed my voice into music, but that's probably not gonna happen for a while. But, like, you know how many ounces. It's a 64-ounce jug. It's big. I'm retarded and I don't claim Vosh as part of the group. You are gatekeeping retardation right now, Baphomet. I can't believe you. Go ahead. Yeah, Lux plus Voosh equals tard babies. Is that you? Have you just shipped us? I'm Luxander. Vosh had a point. That's why Vosh does that stuff. Sometimes he knows people will give him publicity. Yeah, I mean, like, Anna, like, it's like, it frankly, like, every time he calls someone retarded, it's, it, like, gets more attention. And people fucking take the bait every time. I don't actually know if it's bait. I think Vosh at this point is just like, I like to call people retarded, and I'm autistic, and I don't want to, like, stop. And so I know that it's problematic, but I don't want to. It's kind of where he's landed. He's like, yes, I'm insulting people. Yes, I'm being problematic. I know that I'm doing that, and I'm doing it anyway. Like, I don't know that he's doing it necessarily to bait people, but the effect is that people fucking flip their shit every time. Every time Vosh says that something is retarded. It's like, if you're a fan of his, you're like, I can feel it. If you're listening to a debate of Vosh's, like, he does argue with people for a while, try to get them to understand, but if he's arguing against, like, a transphobe, you can kind of, like, feel it amping up, where he's about to fucking call them retarded, and you're like, yeah. Like, sometimes you just need to engage in the problematic for a moment, and that's, you know, people can criticize it, and I think that there are valid criticisms, and I think Vosh is completely aware, and he just has chosen to continue to be problematic in this way. And you can, like, decide whether that's okay to you or not, you know? Oh my god. Luxander. Suris can be the godfather / Neko mother. It's time to bring out the folding chair. Y'all, those memes were too fucking funny. I really think that, like, I have not seen as many leftists, like, talking about the chair thing, and it's so fucking funny, and I wish that there were more people talking about it. Maybe it's just, like, I don't have a leftist community to look at anymore. Previously, it was like, oh, are my people talking about this on Twitter? Ferret Girl, thank you so much for the $10 dono. Ooh, we're getting so close to the halfway mark for showing off the arms today. Ooh. So a big brawl broke out at a dock in Montgomery, Alabama, where previously slaves were brought into port and sold at a market not too far away from the dock, and a group of white people got mad at a black dock worker for telling them to move their boat because their boat was parked in the wrong place, and they started beating him up, and then like 20 or something black people from the neighborhood got involved. And at one point during this brawl, which was like on and off, like they would fight and then they would break off and then they would fight and then they would break off. At one point, a black dude had a white folding chair and just like hit a couple of white people with it. And so yes, a lot of black folks are on, like I noticed it on my Facebook, a lot of black folks are making memes about the chair. You know, what was it? I saw someone earlier call it the, the Montgomery Liberation Chair, I think is what they called it. The Montgomery Liberation Chair. Yeah, we need more Lux fans on Blue Sky. You all who are on Blue Sky, you need to start sharing codes with each other so that we get more Luxander people on Blue Sky. Because frankly, I think that that's like the next... I think that that's going to be the next like social media thing. I've taken a long time to actually start spending time on any other social medias. I like post a little bit on Tumblr. I post like every once in a while on Mastodon, but I don't really grok all of those. I like Blue Sky. It's a website for social media, but it's invite only currently. The Alabama Slammer, true. Montgomery, Alabama's new slogan, take a fucking seat. Oh, I didn't know the dock worker was also the co-captain. Holy shit. Yeah, so it was definitely meme time. Okay, what else does she have to say in this?
That. But you can say some of the most disgusting things about the transgender community and then pretend like you have the moral high ground?
Yeah.
You're garbage, Vosh. I don't respect you, which is why I don't want to talk to you. It's that simple.
Yeah, okay. So look, guys, the thing I can't stand is when people say crazy, horrible things about us and they go, why are you grabbing me? Why are you grabbing me?
Attention, he wants it so bad. Congratulations, Vosh, you got the attention you so desperately want. You're trash. That's what I think of you.
It's like, well, I'm just calling you guys the R word and stuff, but why are you attacking me? Okay, so guys, it's not just about Bush. To all the criers out there who say horrible, horrible things about us, and then when we tweak you back,
Bosch is
I
not
don't need
tearful.
your stupid tears. Go away, okay? So fine, I mean, what am I gonna, like, look, I'm willing to talk to almost anybody. So you want to debate, what are we gonna debate? What are we gonna debate? Your positions are not consistent. So am I debating the Vosh that hates trans people or the Vosh pretending to love trans people? I don't know who I'm debating.
What's hot right now online?
Okay, where's the money? Where's the money?
Yeah.
Oh, have I got you to talk about it?
Oh man, the projection is crisp. The projection is crisp. What's the R word? The R word is retarded. That's the word. If you skip to the middle, yeah, I watched this clip that you posted, Gayfesh. It's like
they're the most hot. That's
here,
the online
here.
Something that I find super unappealing about the online left, and I don't think this is indicative of the left overall, but certainly like the loud online left, is this notion that like you need to be skeptical of everyone, even if they're on our side, and if there's any perceived wrongdoing by that individual, they must be blacklisted. And
this is so long ago. Vosh had long hair. Oh my God. Wow.
You should never talk to them again. And so, look, I'll just keep it real. I retweeted your tweet about this whole interaction that we're having now. And I knew it was going to happen. Inevitably, there's comments about like, how could you talk to Vosh? Vosh this, Vosh that. Like, don't police me. Don't tell me who I can and can't talk to. Like, it reminds me of my mother, like giving me these ridiculous rules when I was a kid, and I would ignore those rules. And I'm going to do the same thing in this regard, right? Like, don't tell me as an adult, as a 35-year-old woman, I'm not allowed to have a conversation with Vosh because you don't like him.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is that she's known all this shit about Vosh for a long time. She's just bringing it up now in order to, frankly, like, make money off of this, you know? Like, honestly, that's what is happening here. Like, if she talks to Vosh, he will make the points that she is wrong about, and she will not want to concede that she has been wrong about this, that she is being inconsistent. There was a video that we watched a little while ago of her literally making the argument for inclusive language, and now she's arguing against it, and so Vosh would point out her inconsistencies. It is much more profitable for Anna and for TYT to rage bait around the topic of Vosh as opposed to actually, you know, having the conversation. Excuse me. Allow Vosh to be left as trash. Being trash is okay. There is no trash can't. Only trash can. I haven't actually seen Barbie, but that really reminds me of like the I am Kenuff line. I am Kenuff. There is no trash can't. Only trash can. Lord have mercy. Hey, if you have not yet hit like on the stream, hit like on the stream. We're memeing, we're creaming, we're having fun. Even if you don't want to hang out with us, you can still hit like before you leave. My God. Maybe let's talk about this study from CNN or something. Let me actually go fuck with my stream notes for a second here. I'm lagging behind on editing again. I should talk to Emily and see if she can take on some more for me. Oh my gosh. My therapist likes Vosh? That would be so weird. It would be really weird to me if I asked my therapist if she knew who Vosh was, and she was like, yeah, I watch Vosh. I would be like, okay. Just like that's a part of the world that I didn't expect to have overlap on it. I'm 5 minutes behind on 2 times speed. Watching Anna rant in 2 times speed feels natural for her. There is no trash Ken. Only trash... There is no trash Kent. Only trash Ken. Okay, what is today? 8/10? And so we talked about Anna Kasparian calls Vosh trash. Holy shit, it's hot. Oh, that's true. Poppy is a therapist who watches Vosh. Does she like Vosh, or is she one of those who's, like, kind of critical of him? No, she's, like, uncritical of Vosh. Or, like, fairly. She thinks he's cool, at least. Because she tagged him on something in Twitter not too long ago. Long after humans go extinct, trash will remain, so who's laughing now? Oh my God. I'm showing off my arms too much. I gotta stop it. It's just hard to put my hair up. Ugh, it's hot in here. Yeah, Poppy's critical of Vosh, but not like Vosh derangement syndrome. Later, Gay Fesh. Have fun. Enjoy. Okay, so we watched Anna Kasparian, like, trans regret study. Magnifique. Yeah, Gayfesh has started doing, like, Star Trek related streams and, like, other, like, gaming and talking about nerd shit streams. Summer, the season of giving it away for free, true. If I were wearing shorts, it probably would be less hot in here. Let me get this fucking jacket out of here, too. Mondays and Thursdays, 5 p.m. Pacific. Critical of Vosh, but not VDS is the perfect balance. I would be critical of Vosh if there were anything to be critical about, but right now there isn't, so... Gayfesh streams on YouTube, I think. Lord. Can't wait for autumn. Truly. I want it to be like hoodie weather. I'm ready for my hoodies back now. That's what I'm ready. I want to wear hoodies again. Humanity's legacy will be fossils of plastic sandals and odd ratios of radionuclides. I mean, we've seen it in WALL-E. We know what America's legacy will be. Or the whole Earth, even. Holy shit. Maybe it's time for a segment. A, is it time for a segment? A little seggy seg? Vosh gets cubed by WALL-E. Ugh. Oh my god. My fucking back has been killing me. You're not Canadian yet. Shake my head. Hold your ez. No, I will not. Segment. Gosh. Alright, well. In all of the anti-trans rhetoric that we've seen all across the country, one of the main arguments that's being made against people getting access to transition, and particularly young people getting access to transition, is this idea that you might regret it. You know, oh no, if you have surgery, you might regret it. Wouldn't that be terrible? We don't make medical decisions, like, legally based on this, by the way. We don't make nose jobs illegal, even though most people regret nose jobs, even if they were for something like correcting a problem. Like, if you have a problem inside your nose, like my nose is really uneven and I could potentially get it fixed. Like, it's causing a breathing problem. If I got my nose fixed, it would look different. And even those medically necessary nose jobs, people regret them, like, a lot. Or knee surgeries. We sometimes, if like a 16-year-old has a football injury, they might be allowed to get a knee surgery. That often can result in different long-term complications that may alleviate some of the original issues, but they may exacerbate them. They may make them worse. We don't make legal decisions based on this regret. But if we're going to ask the question about regret, then why don't we actually look at the question and say how many people have gotten the surgery, how many people are satisfied, and how many people regret, right? People always say, oh, there's such a lack of evidence. Well, now we're starting to see more evidence coming out because it is an interesting scientific question to be asked. Now, before we go too far into it, before we look at this article and read the study a little bit, I will just say this content is free. It is provided by my supporters on Patreon. And even on Patreon, I now have free exclusive content. So even if you are not able to support, you're willing and able to go over there, feel free to go check me out, give me a follow, see the exclusive free content. And also, while you're taking the second to do that, maybe like the video. I got a knee surgery, and now it's hard to walk with two knees on one leg and only one knee on the other. Wait, that just made it sound like you have so many legs. Oh my god, these fucking gnats are right in my face right now. Yeah, Mama Mephistopheles regrets a knee surgery. Guarantee there's more people who regret never transitioning. Yeah, I mean, and that's the other question as well. How many people regret never being able to transition versus how many people, how many of the vanishingly few people who get to access that, like, do regret actually having access to that? Realistically, the number of people who are denied access and regret it is much higher. But whatever. Excuse me. Yeah, Marcella says, I only regret not transitioning earlier. So let's go ahead and take a look at this over here. Trans and non-binary patients have no regrets about top surgery, small study finds. So top surgery, I believe that what we're going to be looking into in this article is masculinizing top surgery, i.e. you have breasts and you have them removed, or maybe even you have them made smaller. Some people will have I just want them to be smaller gender affirming surgery. Like, you know, my chest is pretty small, so I can make a choice about wearing a push-up bra or wearing a binder and putting them away. So other people who have bigger chests might ideally want to have a chest that is, like, they still have boobs, but they're small enough that you can bind and put them away, right? So like allowing for the fact that some people might get like a top surgery that isn't necessarily a full mastectomy or whatever you would want to call that, you know? Study published Wednesday in the journal JAMA Surgery shows that people who had a gender-affirming mastectomy, sometimes called top surgery, had extremely low rates of decisional regret and extremely high levels of satisfaction with their decision to have the procedure. The results are, quote, overwhelmingly positive compared to other medical and non-medical decisions. Not every person who gets gender-affirming care will have surgery. That's a good point. And it's one of the later steps typically in the transition. Like, you know, you don't usually jump to surgery. You do other things first. Yes. It's not the same as a complete double mastectomy. I guess that's just worth mentioning. If you have cancer and you need to have surgery to remove the potentially cancerous material, that will actually leave you with a chest that is slightly caved in. And then you would have reconstructive surgery later. So if you are the kind of person who has a family history of breast cancer risk and you want to have top surgery, they do leave some of the breast tissue in place to then give you a certain shape. They sculpt a particular shape. Even cisgender men have a little bit of breast tissue. So you would, just for a PSA, if you wanted top surgery, you can still have it. You would just need to get scans on a regular basis. Basically, you know, if you have like the BRCA2 or whatever it is, that gene. Oh my God. Yeah, surgery to make you a top. That's true. I'm gonna get top surgery someday. So this was a relatively small survey. This was a survey of 235 people who've had a gender-affirming mastectomy. Okay, so I guess this is only mastectomy and not like a reduction. So these are people who like functionally do not have breasts after. They don't have like small breasts, they just don't have breasts. Excuse me. I wish I could at least afford a binder, TBH. I mean, I'm gonna be in like a much better financial position in a couple months, so I'm literally might send you one if you don't have one by then. And when the survey was conducted last year, the participants were between 2 and 23.6 years past their surgeries. So that's another question that we have, is about like how long after. Because if you ask someone in the first 6 weeks how satisfied they are with their surgery, they are gonna have more concerns than they would have like after 5 years of their chest settling and everything. They've had time to deal with any potential complications that might have arisen. So we're looking at some people who 20 plus years ago had these surgeries being able to report on their lifetime satisfaction rates, basically. And the idea too that this is a phase. Oh, you don't want to get this surgery because maybe you will disaffect from identifying as trans later. But yeah, like most of us who get these procedures think about it for years before we get them, think about it for several years, and then we get the procedure, and then even 23 years later, we're much, much happier. I want to be flat enough to be topless, but I don't know if I want my chest masculinized, like where they move the nips and all of that. Some places do give you the option to like choose your nipple placement. I mean, it's a free graft in most cases, so, you know, I've seen people with like, they place the nipples not in a masculine location, but like more toward the center of the chest, and like they might not resize the areola, so maybe you have like a big nip instead of a masculinized small nip. There are some options, I will say. Yeah, Mama points out as well that because of your healing and because of post-anesthesia effects on the body, you are less capable of being like happy and having your shit all together when you are recovering from a major surgery like that. High key, I'm kind of fucking hyped for top surgery when I get it because I'm getting no nips. That's exciting! Yeah, that's good stuff. I know that some people are really, really, really into it. Like, really into not having nips, basically. So, the survey captures the overall quality of life post-procedure, But rather than being specifically designed for trans patients, the survey was one that is often used in oncology to assess how someone feels about their treatment or screening. This can also be used in non-clinical settings to determine how someone feels about a particular medical procedure. So of the participants, 139 answered the survey accurately and returned it to the researchers. So yeah, I guess like the study surveyed 235 people. There were 139 mostly filled out responses, so a little bit over 100. We have a satisfaction scale. None of the survey respondents underwent a reversal procedure. Approximately a quarter of them underwent an additional gender-affirming procedure after their mastectomy, suggesting that there's a sustained intent and consistency in decision-making. I'm curious whether additional gender-affirming procedures, a quarter, does that mean these folks have gone on to have bottom surgery, or does that mean that these folks have gone on to have a revision surgery? You know, there's that's an interesting question to ask. Not hugely relevant, but I'm just curious. One review of multiple studies published in 2021 involved patients' short and long-term satisfaction scores after surgery, and found that those who underwent transfeminine and transmasculine procedures, only 1% regretted it. So we're basically just seeing every study that gets done on this subject shows that there is a high rate of satisfaction. A review of satisfaction and regret surveys across a wide variety of surgical specialties found a 14.4 mean rate of regret, meaning that many more people regret other kinds of surgeries than those who undergo gender-affirming surgery. So yeah, if you're looking at regret, if regret is your primary interest in limiting access to certain procedures, you know, then you want to go after other things. There are teenage girls who get nose jobs. There are teenage girls who get boob jobs. It's even like I'm surely some aspects of subculture where it might even be like a kind of mommy-daughter activity to like both go get Botox together, or like both go get a Brazilian butt lift or something. You know, like these plastic surgeries are considered gender affirming in a way that like the adults sometimes support. I knew someone who, when they were a teenager, was discussing getting breast augmentation surgery, and their mom was on board with it. Like if they had decided, they ended up being trans, by the way. He ended up being a trans guy, and I think has had top surgery now, like to remove them. But like there was a time like where I knew someone who as a teenager had a mom who was on board with them potentially getting a breast augmentation, you know? So if you're really wanting to attack regret rates, and especially amongst like minors receiving care, then it doesn't make sense to go after trans-related care. The only reason why you would go after trans-related care and blow up out of proportion all these statistics about the potential regret rates is because you think being trans is wrong, and because you have a personal problem with people getting these surgeries. Thank you. Yes, the whole scrutiny smells of infantilization. I know multiple women who were pressured by their mothers to get nose jobs. Oh my gosh. Imagine being pressured by your mom to get plastic surgery. Did they go on to get the plastic surgery, I guess is the question. Like, it's one thing to be pressured. It's another thing to have it done to you, right? What's up, Guitar Rocker? Welcome in. We are talking about regret rates in trans surgery. Yeah, amen. Study says what trans people have been saying for years. No one could have seen this coming. Like, basically, even if you look at studies that have the additional details of asking, you know, were there complications? Like, I don't know if this particular study goes into that kind of depth, but even if you look at people having complications during their surgery, like, you know, urogenital complications are not uncommon because, like, Jesus, I've got gunk in my throat, I'm sorry. Oh my God, what was I saying? Man, the fucking ADHD just cleans it out sometimes, doesn't it? Urogenitals, yeah. You're dealing with genitals and you have to pee through them. So it's pretty common for there to be complications people say, oh my God, I don't want to get phalloplasty. Like, if you see trans men talking about how they don't want to have a penis surgery to build a penis because there are so many complications that can occur. It's basically like you're trying to build a new urethra and you have to actively pee through it while it's healing. You know, that's like the problem. So yeah, it like was gonna irritate the wound and stuff. So yeah, there are predictable complications that you could have with, you know, building a new urethra or ending the urethra in a new location, and like you continue to need to pee and use the parts of your body. You know, sitting might be uncomfortable and you might get an infection, which is normal with literally any surgery, right? You could have complications. And even still, people who have complications with their surgeries, people who need revisions, even people who have failures still feel like it's worth it. You know, I've known people who've gotten phalloplasty, which is they're having a penis constructed from a skin graft, and they, you know, they end up totally losing the ability to pee standing up. It was one of their main things, and maybe for only a few months on and off while they're peeing, like they are able to pee standing up, and then eventually their new urethra fails. They still are grateful for having had the opportunity to pee through their penis, and like that they now have one, you know? There's a study that was done with trans feminine people that facial feminization surgery for adult transitioners would save a lot of people's mental health around socially passing, but because the NHS, the National Health Service in Britain, doesn't have enough funding, they won't consider it even if they provided a choice between gender-confirming surgery or facial feminization surgery. Like, they're always gonna opt to give you the pussy before they will give you a facial surgery. I knew a teenage cis boy whose mother was a nurse and thought he was too short. She put him on growth hormones and had surgeries where his leg bones were lengthened, a very painful surgery. She put him through hell to make him taller because she thought he was too short for a young man. That's crazy, but like that's like the extent that cis people will go to, because I know men will do this consensually. It's not just something that has been forced on people, but some people will consensually do a leg lengthening surgery, and like it's experimental even, you know? It's not like something that we have validated and approved. Like sometimes you have to travel to sketchy places in order to get these procedures even. Didn't Steven Crowder get like a chest embiggening surgery of some kind? Like while his twins were being born, his chest was all fucking weirdly inflated and stuff, like a totally experimental surgery. His legs were repeatedly broken, had pins, etc. We live near a hospital that is a research hospital. They can do it. Okay, so they can just experiment on people. Sounds great. Anyway, long story short, effectively, it's concern trolling, it's infantilization, it's like misdirected misogyny because, you know, there's, oh my God, your healthy breasts, like the weird TERFs going off about these healthy teenage breasts. Oh, they'll never know what it's like for a person to caress their breasts. These 16-year-olds getting top surgery. And it's like, would you stop fantasizing about the bodies of teenagers, you fucking psychos? Like, what is wrong with you? Also, the NHS bottom surgery is notorious for being low quality compared to America. Yeah, I mean, I will say that there is one thing about competition, and it's that you have to actually prove that you're good at something instead of like, oh, Mr. Christopher is the only person who does phalloplasty in the UK at all. So yeah, you're going to go through Mr. Christopher. Pedocon theory turns out to be more and more true every day. Yeah, like, stop being so weird. Like, let people make decisions. That's the other thing. Like, you can't protect people from regret, you know? You can't, like, tell adults that they can't get married or that they can't have kids because they might regret it. Like, you can't, like, protect people from bad decisions. Like, as a parent, you can try your fucking best. You know what I mean? Like, parents across this country try their best to enable their kids to make good decisions, but you can't make those decisions for them. And you can't, like, protect them from doing things that they'll regret. You can tell them, hey, that person that you're dating, I don't like them and I think that they're not good for you. But at a certain point, like, your kids are going to do what they're going to do, and they might get hurt. And, like, you can't legally step in and protect them from that harm because they voluntarily, like, they have the right to make decisions that can harm them. Like, people have the right to make choices within limitations, you know, like, obviously you're not allowed to, like, do things that might endanger other people. You know, you can get drunk at home, but you can't go drink and drive because of the effect that could have on other people. But, like, you have the right to fuck up your life, frankly. You should, at least. You should have the right. Like, you should have the right to take risks that could involve a great reward or a great regret. And, like, trans people think really hard about our potential regrets. We think about this. We ask ourselves, like, do I want this, or is this because of how other people see my body? I'm one of those trans people who has decided that even though it is the typical narrative for someone like me is to go on testosterone and then have a top surgery where they remove the breasts and then, like, potentially look into bottom surgery later. Like, I don't want top surgery. I want to keep my chest the way that it is because I like my body. Like, if anything, I would like to get augmentation at some point. It's probably not going to happen. But, like, I am not typical in that way. And there is pressure, though. Like, there was pressure at a certain point in my transition to get top surgery because it would help me fit in. But I spent a long time thinking about it. I would have maybe resolved that sooner if I had had a therapist to help me, like, figure my feelings out or what have you. But yeah, people have the right to do these things. And it's just really depressing that people are trying to limit that right. And it shows out, it bears out every single time. Every single time you do a study on this, every single time you ask a group of trans people and you do a survey, every single time they will tell you that their lives are better now. And if you have qualms about the fact that only 139 people responded out of the 235 people who were surveyed, ask yourself if the people who didn't participate are going to be likely to be people who experienced regret or not. Like, if you're worried about, like, voices unheard, this was an opportunity for someone with regret to make their voice heard, to become the next Chloe Cole, and they didn't. So, like, the bias there is likely that, like, if someone is going to be regretful, they're more likely to say something when given the opportunity, right? Like, it's probably going to be people who don't feel very strongly, who disaffect from the study. So I just wanted to say that before we wrap up the segment. And now that we're wrapping up the segment, I will say again, consider following on Patreon. The credits will be coming soon in the video, and there's free stuff there, and there's content behind the paywall, but please consider supporting the show. Your donations are always welcome and accepted, and consider sharing the video, because it would be great if we could get this kind of positive news out to more people. So, yeah. To the YouTube channel in the future, thank you for watching, and I'm done with the segment now. Oh my God, true. When you see conservatives talk about children and the rights of women, it seems that a lot of them essentially want 12-year-old brides who are barefoot and pregnant at all times. That is what they are after. The original Harry Benjamin care protocols are the problem, since these so-called specialists in the UK only saw trans healthcare as experimentation, since it is still not well understood medically speaking. Maybe this is just my bias from most of my information about bottom surgery coming from American trans men, but I kind of feel like we understand it. Like, I kind of feel like we understand it really well. Like, we've been doing vaginoplasties and phalloplasties since, like, what was the first female to male phalloplasty was conducted in 1946. So, and they were doing them before that on, like, men who had their penises blown up Like cis men who had their penises blown up. That's why phalloplasty exists, is to restore sexual and practical function to a cis man who has lost his penis. But the first female to male one, as far as I know, was done in 1946. Almost 100 years. I don't know after that much time how you could reasonably say that it's experimental. So yeah, that is really bothersome that the NHS is like still so shitty about it. Yeah, the first MTF vaginoplasty was in 1931 in Germany. I do wonder if that was developed, like, there's not usually the same kind of risk of injury to a vagina that would result in cis women needing this surgery pioneered for them. So that's an interesting concept I'd never really thought about. Was vaginoplasty created? Sometimes cisgender women are born without a vagina. It happens. Like, plus intersex people are sometimes born with, like, no vagina, or, like, it's really shallow or something. So I'd be really curious, like, was it developed to treat, like, transsexualism, essentially? I bet it would be, just based on the statistical likelihood. In terms of how transsexualism exists medically, genetically, and long-term effects of hormones, etc. No. Like, again, like, we do understand this stuff pretty well. Almost all trans health... Thank you, exactly, Mama. Almost all trans healthcare is just repurposed cis healthcare. Imagine what we could do if medical researchers actually cared about creating trans healthcare for trans people. Yeah, it's a totally different, like, approach conceptually. There was a Roman emperor/empress who, through accounts, although accounts of them are unreliable, was said to have sought out a surgeon to perform a vaginoplasty, which means that vaginoplasty has existed in concept since at least the Roman Empire. That's very true. How much do we need to flex? We're still like $60 away from me showing off my sexy arms. As a trans guy, I've always related to stories of cis men who've had penis accidents. Yeah, it's like, it feels like a loss, right? I just want a new body grown in a vat. Please, put me in goo. I want to be born in goo. Anyway, hey, hit like on the stream. I think a couple people just joined, so hit like, and if you want to leave, you can. We are about to talk about the trans bathroom things, though, because we just got done talking about a regret rate surgeries, trans people, bullshit conversation. And it's kind of like the last thing on my list today is trans bathroom wins. Unless I were to do political compass tests later, which I probably will not at this point. I'm such a simp that at this point, like, I'm really honestly considering being like, I wonder if after stream I could go to my partner's house. I'm gonna be moving back in soon, though, so maybe I don't need to spend every fucking night over there. Excuse me. Wow, the stuff in my throat is just not stopping. IDKY, but I'm craving sweetbread. What is sweetbread? Like, are you talking about like Hawaiian rolls? Hawaiian sweet bread rolls? Those are really yummy. That's what she said. Yeah, listen. I'm not doing smuggy chat right this second, but listen. Luxander has unlocked some skills recently that, frankly, I don't know if I should talk about on stream. Sweetbread is an animal organ? What? Oh, is that... Sweetbread is awful? Oh, weird. I didn't know that. Interesting. If I donate more for Flex, I cannot eat at work this week. Yeah, don't do that. Other people, Veronica is beseeching you to help us get that extra $60 so that we can get the Flex. Sweetbreads is animal brain. Why would you call it that? Why? Why would you call animal brain sweetbreads? Why do we call it that? But also, it's I could also ask, like, why do we call fucking Rocky Mountain oysters Rocky Mountain oysters? Like, it's not animal brains. It's the thymus gland, which is in the brain, right? False advertising. I got all excited. You said I'm craving sweetbreads, and I was like, ooh, I love carbs. Anyway. Oh, good lord. Aw, we've lost like 7 people in the last couple seconds. Rip in pieces. I know, I love carbs. They're delicious. I ate an entire thing. Oh, thymus is in your chest? Okay. I had like an entire... You know when you get a Kraft mac and cheese, and you make the entire thing, and then you eat the entire thing? It calls for like half a stick of butter, and you eat the entire thing, and so you consume like half a stick of butter? Fucking delicious. Thymus is in the throat. Oh, okay. It did look a bit like bread when prepared, and it is slightly sweet like liver. Sounds awful. Gross. Yeah, it is awful. Yeah. You're having fun with your puns? You having fun with your puns? Have you heard of sausage balls? No. Is it anything like, Scotch eggs? Because I could be interested. The new Some More News is about how awful all our food is. Yeah. I don't really watch Cody's Shody very often because he's kind of a fucking bummer. But, yeah, it's like such low quality. I saw a tweet recently that was like, hey, not only is the food twice as expensive as it was last year, but it's also, you get half as much and it's way worse quality. Yay! I wonder if we can get to 100 likes today. Maybe we can get, maybe we won't reach the dono goal, but we'll get to 100 likes? Maybe? Maybe? Anyway. Sausage balls is basically Bisquick, cheddar cheese, and sausage. That could be yummy. Could potentially be yummy. Okay, I'm ramping up into this bathroom segment here in a sec. Ah, Yo-Yo Ma has fucking COVID-19. Unsurprising. He was doing performances. The sausage balls get mixed together and baked on a sheet pan like dinner rolls. Yummy. Baphomet, if you're hungry, go eat food, okay? It's too early. I've only been streaming for 2 hours. It's too early for me to be, like, getting hungry on stream. Oh, jeez. Sausage gravy on toast. Yeah, I still am craving like a country gravy, sausage breakfast gravy on biscuits situation. I had Taco Bell before stream today. I shouldn't be hungry right now. You're making me hungry. It's 1 a.m. in the UK. Oh, I know. There's a reason why I stream for you guys on Sundays. I've been eating less lately for some reason, lost like 10 pounds. Well, that's alarming. 10 pounds is an alarming amount of weight to just lose. Like, I know that you've been stressed because you, like, lost your job and, like, had breakups or whatever, but shit, be careful, you know? Don't, like, let yourself randomly lose weight. That's, like, literally a sign of a lot of very bad health issues, you know? But it also could just be stress, so, like, try to, like, chill the stress. Just wondering, did you already cover the title? No, I'm about to. It's gonna be our last thing for today, probably. Ramen sounds great right now. Y'all are so thirsty / hungry. You're thirsty for the food. Yum, I gotta drink more water. Saw the doctor, he says that I'm fine. I actually don't know that we can feel confident that if we have like a low appetite and we go to the doctor, I don't know that they do comprehensive enough testing to ensure that you're actually okay. But that's like a poor person thing, you know, like poor people don't get good health care. Anyway. Food is our love language. I do love food. Yum, yum, yum. That's true, I am rather stressed. Getting school stuff set up is a pain in the ass, especially since I changed my name since I last went to college. Yeah. Okay, maybe we should segue. It's just really hot. Why? Too warm in here. I am looking forward to the winter. Oh my god. I drink more water. And then I'll start talking about the bathrooms. I know, it's hot in here because me, I'm hot. I need to take some more pictures for Fansly soon. I don't post nudes, but I do post sexy pics. Just fully clothed sexy pics, and I need to post some more. I got some new heels. Oh my god, they're so strappy and cute. I know all of the secrets for keeping myself cool. I'm not gonna wear a fucking wet wash rag during my stream. Worst case scenario, I'll be one of those sexy models, you know, one of those models that's like, you know, with the hair flipping around everywhere. Majestic. Oh my god. I should be on a beach somewhere. Anyway. Oh, Michelle, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. The lurkers, y'all be sneaking in with the $30 dono. Thank you so much. Cheers, Michelle, for sure. Ooh. That puts us at $70. I only need $30 more, and then I will debase myself for you all by objectifying myself and showing off my body. You know? No, that looks deranged. That's not very sexy. That was deranged face. Not very sexy. Okay. Wow. We take a lot of L's on this channel, okay? You know, we talk about a lot of L's for the trans people, for the trans community. It's not been a great year or so, okay? And we've been concerned that, you know, all these laws are passing, what's gonna happen? They're trying to limit our rights to healthcare and our access to public spaces. I myself live in Kansas, where it's currently illegal for me to use public bathrooms. Or rather, they have told me I'm supposed to use a certain bathroom, and if I do use that bathroom, then that doesn't mean that I'm going to be safe. There's still going to be scrutiny, and people could still call the cops on me. I might look one way, and my ID says something else. You know, people might think that I look like one thing, but then if I talk, they think that I sound like something else. And that confusion and dissonance is deadly to me, potentially. Like, that person could try to assault me, or that person could call the cops. That person is empowered now, where I live in Kansas, to call the cops on me for just existing in a public bathroom. So, you know, my rights are limited. Yes, subscriptions add to the dono total. Like, if you subscribe on the website, like, if you get your fun color name, that does count. Thank you. Today we do have a win to talk about, because we have been concerned what's going to happen. You know, it's going to go through the courts, and we don't know what's going to happen if it goes through the courts and then gets all the way to the Supreme Court. We'll see, you know, how that's going to go. But we are starting to see some of those wins on the small scale, in the lower courts, in the circuit courts, as this inevitably works its way up through the appeals courts, through the process. It is going to be a question how it handles on the top end of it. But before we read these, I want to remind you that I have a Patreon. It is free for some content right now. There are paid things. This show is free and it's supported by those folks, but I am also posting some exclusive content for free. You can check it out. You can follow. If you want to join later after you get a sample of that content, that's totally fair. Thank you very much. Holy shit, y'all. Donos during stream are amazing as I'm pitching the Patreon. Holy shit, Jimsy, thank you so much for the tier 4 sub. Time to raise those guns, Lux. And then Michelle donated an additional $30 saying cheers again. I'm hoping that wasn't just a double post. I will refund you if it was a double post, but holy shit, thank you anyway. Yeah, wait, is this show free? I was only here for the thrill of stealing. The thrill. It's the final countdown. I don't know where that came from. What is this? What is that, 140 now? I don't remember what the tier 4 subs cost. I think they're $40. But yeah, holy shit, thank you all so much. I will debase myself before we move on to the segment. Oh my gosh. I'm so ready. I'm so ready to objectify myself. Isn't it great? I can't take off my shirt today because I'm not wearing a bra. So, yeah. Return of the purple. Yes, more purple names. More purple names. Okay, this is what you all are here for. This is what you all come for. Well, hold on. I guess I'll put my hair up now. I'll put my hair up, so. This is what you're all here for. I'll put the hair away. And then I'll start flexing more. But like, look. My traps are getting bigger. My biceps are getting bigger. Everything. Keep it down. You want the hair down? You want it, you can't see as much when it's up or when it's down, right? Man, my arms are getting big. Arms are getting so big. So beefy. I'm so giant. Y'all want the hair back down? Jesus Christ. Yeah, look at the muscles. I know I'm red. It's so warm in here. I'm telling you. It's hot. Like, it's so warm. I like hair up. Can't decide. Can't decide whether the hair goes up or down. Goodness gracious. Well, here. We'll do this. I need a different hair tie. I want this hair tie instead. Hair tie. Gotta get those flexes. Beautiful. Yeah, it's too fucking hot. It's too hot here. Amazing. I like the new gym that I just tried out this week. It's pretty cool. All right, let's get back to the segment. Thank you so much for your donos, everybody. I really appreciate you. Helping so that I can move soon. Great stuff. Okay. Let's see. Which one do we want to start with? I guess it doesn't really matter. We'll start with the one that came first. Yeah, I'm glad, Veronica, we got to satisfy you before you left stream tonight. No worries. Appreciate you. Little hair. Hair up, hair down. Can't please everybody. I can't please everybody. Yeah, the one who came first, for sure. So on August 3rd, I follow some of this stuff on Aaron Reed's Substack. There was a Court of Appeals case which ruled that trans youth can use the bathroom related to their gender identity, which reaffirms an earlier ruling. So we are starting to see this process where it's working its way up into the appeals court system. You know, the circuit court means that some lower court has already seen this, affirmed the right of trans youth to use these correct bathrooms, and they are rejecting gender-neutral alternatives, which means that they're addressing the separate but equal argument, which is amazing. I'm so excited to see that. They have ruled that these trans youth can continue to use bathrooms in accordance with their good faith gender identity in Indiana, rejected an effort by school districts to overturn a lower court's preliminary injunction. This means trans youth in the state continue to have the right to access bathroom facilities, and policies barring them are blocked in states within that circuit's jurisdiction. So the 7th Circuit is in agreement now with the 4th Circuit and in opposition to the 11th Circuit on the bathroom access issue, which will only be resolved with the case being heard by the U.S. Supreme Court. So currently we have like a different set of standards in different parts of the country. Under the 11th Circuit, they're saying states here have a right to restrict the rights of trans people to access public spaces such as restrooms. But in both the 4th and the 7th Circuit, they've reaffirmed. And each one of those has multiple states under his jurisdiction. I would not mind more gender-neutral bathrooms, but not as a replacement for men's and women's bathrooms. Sure, I am most comfortable in a gender-neutral bathroom. I think that's totally fine. That, like, I want them to have that option. I really think that that should be an option anywhere there are bathrooms, frankly. Like, you should have all three if you're going to have gendered bathrooms. Either they should all be non-gendered, or the gendered ones should also have a neutral option. Yeah, but that does not mean, oh, this is the trans people bathroom. No. It's the bathroom for people who are comfortable in a gender-neutral space. It's not for you to put trans people in a box in a separate room where they can just be by themselves. No. That's not how we do things here. But because there is this question between the 7th and the 4th Circuit agreeing, but the 11th Circuit not agreeing on this issue, it literally is only going to be resolved if you appeal it all the way up to the Supreme Court. And potentially, of course, that's going to happen in the near future. So this question was on 3 trans boys. They were being required to use bathrooms corresponding to their sex at birth, or gender-neutral bathrooms that were far away from their classes, often making them late for class and revealing their trans status. Of course, because, like, if you're in school, where's the gender-neutral bathroom? In the nurse's office and the teacher's lounge are basically going to be the only places where you have a gender-neutral bathroom in a school. So if you have a school that's like 3 stories and you have class on the 3rd floor, you have to walk all the way downstairs to the front office where the nurse's office is in order to use a gender-neutral bathroom. It is an undue burden. And this is the fucking conversation that I had with him back in the day when we had this conversation. Like, trans people do not have equal rights in this way. Like, they are, like, the burden of receiving an education is increased if you have all these weird rules around where you're allowed to use the bathroom. And of course, this helps intersex people. Yeah, for sure. So my hopes are not high for the Supreme Court. I agree with you, Mama, that I don't really think that it's going to go well. Guess I'll just piss on the floor. True. Let's see. Just a little bit more details on this case. One boy traveled across the school to the health office bathroom only to find it locked on numerous occasions, leading at times to embarrassing accidents. Some of the boys would hold their bladders to the point that it posed a health threat and aggravated existing health problems. Yeah, trans people have a higher instance of urinary tract infections and bladder infections than the general population because of our tendency to hold our pee because we don't have access to safe bathrooms. Like, as a population, trans people, both men and women and non-binary people, we have health complications associated with holding our pee all day. So it's a literal health issue. And a lower court ruled that these policies were harmful to them and violated their civil rights under Title IX and the 14th Amendment's right to equal protection under the law. So the court in the Circuit of Appeals was asked to revisit this ruling. The 7th Circuit declined to revise its earlier ruling and, in fact, seemingly strengthened it, pointing out, for instance, that a recent Supreme Court decision makes it even more clear that discrimination against trans people is sex discrimination and renders policies such as these unconstitutional. This Supreme Court is so confusing. Does anybody else feel that way? Where it's like they are super good and based on one thing, and then they're like the opposite, and it's like the same fucking issue. Like, it's, I literally don't have a consistent set of expectations for how trans rights are going to turn out because of how inconsistent this Supreme Court is being. I thought the Supreme Court was always iffy. Yeah, it's like indiscernible what their intentions are. And yes, this court has definitely cited the separate but equal thing. Like, you know, the idea that gender-neutral facilities amounts to a reasonable accommodation states that these facilities, though separate, were absolutely not equal. The gender-neutral alternatives were not true alternatives because of their distant location to the classrooms and the increased stigmatization that they caused plaintiffs. And offering remote schooling is denying a trans student the opportunity to socialize with and learn alongside the classmates, and that's not a true alternative either. Yeah, I'm glad that they addressed that in this case, that the idea of offering a student remote learning as an alternative. Now, if remote learning is like a standard, like if you have a couple hundred students who all have access to remote learning in your school district or in your county or whatever, if it's an actual real system where you have access to a decent amount of education, sure. But at this point, doing like remote schooling, they just say, hey, you figure it out, and you don't have any of the support that is required to actually get to like finish high school. This court has also tackled directly the idea that trans people in the bathroom will, quote, invade other students' privacy, and that allowing trans youth to use the bathroom could result in, quote, genital exposure. The court responded with skepticism, pointing out that there are stalls in bathrooms and that none of the students shared showers. The district is fighting a phantom, the court opinion stated. So, frankly, like, slapped that shit down. Just slapped it down. Just no. We're not dealing with this. Just not dealing with this. And that's not the only bathroom win that we've had. We had another one later that same week. A Trump-appointed judge denies a, quote, right to trans-free bathrooms. Now listen, Lord, thank you, God, for these gifts that you are bestowing upon me, because here's what the deal is. I have been making this point for months now. For months now. These cisgender women, it's almost always fucking cis white women, too, okay? They are constantly invoking this, like, specter of, like, trans bodies scaring them. You know, there was one where there was a YMCA where the girl was, like, accusing this, you know, man's body of being in there. There was this implication that the trans woman was, like, fully intact and swinging her penis around, but she had vaginoplasty. She had a vagina, you know? Like, she wasn't an intact male. It's just, like, the existence of a trans body in their space. Like, the idea, like, oh, you can tell based on someone's facial features or something that they are trans, even if they don't have the genitals that you're allegedly so scared of. It fundamentally comes down to, yeah, exactly, my sex-based right to not have to look at icky transgenders. Like, the idea that you have the right to a public space that's free of people you dislike being around you. I mean, this was fundamentally the question about, like, colored water fountains and things. Like, this idea that white women had, and, like, white people in general, I guess, but, like, white women in particular had this idea that they had the right to not be near black people. Like, that if a black man looked at you as a white woman, you could have him lynched because, oh, he was leering at me, he made me feel scared, he made me feel threatened. Like, and then we'll just fucking, like, end that dude. Like, white women have historically weaponized this idea that they deserve to be in spaces free of people they don't like. It's giving servants' quarters. It's giving servants' entrance. You know, when those really big houses that would have, like, a completely separate area and, like, doors in and out to the kitchen directly because people, like, did not want to see the help. They did not want to see the servants about their business. You know, you come in the house and you start doing your business and, like, cleaning shit and cooking our breakfast and everything, but don't you dare walk through our ornate front door. Like, oh God, you can't walk up the steps to the front door. We have to, like, prop up this idea of the perfect house that is just, you know, the maintenance is completely invisible. Exactly. Transphobia is just recycled homophobia, which in turn is just recycled racism. Exactly. Yeah, we reviewed this previously at the congressional meeting. Paula Scanlon, her entire grift is about this, like, idea that she had to share a locker room with Leah Thomas. And now she has a career going to Congress, grifting, probably gonna write a book about how, like, the idea of a trans woman in my space, it's exactly the same scaremongering around lesbians. We've talked about this multiple times on stream before. Like, lesbians in women's spaces, like, oh my god, what if someone looks at me? Like, oh, okay, why don't you go change in the bathroom stall if you're so fucking uncomfortable about it? Also, how many of you were trans teenagers and you changed in the bathroom stall? I wasn't even out yet. And I was in, like, freshman or sophomore year of high school or something, and I was in my PE class, and I was in the fucking girls' room, and I would change in the stall. Even though I was, like, basically a girl amongst girls at that time in my life. Like, I literally didn't know I was trans and I changed in a stall. Hands up. Yeah, exactly. So let's continue reading. Yeah, like, I'm really glad that they did specifically address this, like, a right to trans-free bathrooms. You don't have the right to be around, to, like, just spaces free of people you don't like. Apparently, Ohio Muslim and Christian students have a right to, quote, trans-free bathrooms and curriculums. Like, that was the argument that was being made that got slapped down. So this guy was appointed by Trump. His name is Michael J. Newman. He dismissed a lawsuit by Muslim and Christian groups in Ohio, which were seeking to prevent trans teachers and students from using restrooms corresponding with their gender identity. Newman's ruling also denied the plaintiff's request to remove instructional materials promoting LGBTQ+ inclusivity. They really did try to get even the, like, literature acknowledging in a neutral way the existence of queer people. They were like, yeah, it's actually against the rights of us as, like, Christians and Muslims for this stuff to even be in the schools, you know? Like, it's not okay. It's against our rights to even acknowledge the existence, not even being in the same space as them, but to merely know that they exist. It's our right to protect our children from the knowledge that people are different from them. Wow. So, anyway, a lawsuit was filed by Muslim and Christian plaintiffs against the school district in Dayton, Ohio. The suit claimed the district consulted with attorneys who advised that under state and federal civil rights laws, a trans student must be permitted to use the restroom of the gender identity. The school acted based on this interpretation. Yes, this is how it's been interpreted, basically. The plaintiffs falsely argued that Title IX actually prohibits trans students from using these restrooms. They also contended that permitting trans students in restrooms of their gender identity and including queer educational materials infringes on their religious liberty to, quote, have trans-free bathrooms. Transgender-free bathrooms, a phrase taken directly from the ruling. The judge disagreed and dismissed the lawsuit on both merits and standing. From the judge's analysis, we hear plaintiffs characterize the school district's actions as a preference favoring trans students by permitting them to use the bathroom that aligns with their gender identity, while simultaneously harming plaintiffs by rejecting their attempt to prevent this girl from using the girl's bathroom, causing them anxiety and distress because the school district is not honoring their, quote, self-declared core identity. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. There's no... Did you seriously? There's no way. Did you really, like, make the self-declared core identity, like, my religion, my self-declared identity as a religious person is what I'm trying to have protected here? What the fuck? Okay. Anyway, the parent plaintiffs made the same allegations, contending that parents of trans students receive disproportionate favoritism because their children's wishes are respected, while the parent plaintiff's children's religious beliefs requiring transgender-free bathrooms are not honored. Oh my god, no. No. Oh man. Okay, hold on. So they really tried to say, like, our religious identity, like, I like the levels of projection here. How are you sitting here trying to remove the rights of trans people because of your religious beliefs Like, you're trying to limit other people's rights to public access because of your religious beliefs, and you're accusing them of receiving disproportionate favoritism because their children's wishes are being respected. Fucking amazing. Like, I declare the right to bigot-free bathrooms. I should not have to share the air with you. I declare the right to bigot-free oxygen. Holy shit. Yeah, it says, although parents have the right to make decisions about where to send their children to school, they do not have a constitutional right to revoke a school's policy on student bathroom usage. Count 4 imposes an equal protection challenge without disparate treatment, so the court cannot afford the relief that plaintiffs seek. The lawsuit went further. Plaintiffs also sought a judgment to remove the queer materials, arguing that this inclusive curriculum violates their religious beliefs and their liberties. Let's see. These legal challenges are increasingly common but rarely successful. In this case in Ohio, the judge dismissed the plaintiff's claim, citing a Ninth Circuit opinion which states that accommodating the various, quote, personal, moral, or religious concerns of every parent would be, quote, impossible for public schools. The opinion noted that different parents might often, as in this case, desire conflicting outcomes. So basically, this decision is saying, even though you have a religious right to, like, your beliefs about trans people, your personal religious beliefs do not afford you the power and sway to limit other people's civil rights. You know, if we have the civil rights in place where, like, someone is allowed to use the bathroom, or, like, someone is allowed to get married or whatever, like, you don't have to be trans and use the bathroom if you don't like it. You don't have to get gay married if you don't like it. But you don't have the right to prevent other people from accessing spaces and being treated equally under the law, which is the 14th Amendment argument. So again, this is a Trump-appointed judge. And we've seen this happen numerous times now, where Trump-appointed judges rule on the side of rights and the Constitution. You know, like, it's frankly a stretch when these courts rule against trans people. They have to really, like, twist the Constitution. They have to really twist the law in order to make it, like, so that trans people don't have rights. The one argument that I think is going to lose us the Supreme Court is, like, enshrined in our nation's history kind of thing. Like, this argument that the right to transition is not included in our Constitution because it wasn't part of what the founders originally thought of when they wrote it. You know, people weren't doing this allegedly when we were establishing this country. So, you know, that means, you know, we can say it's illegal because it's not part of our nation's tradition and history. So that's what I'm scared of happening. But these judges who aren't biased in that way, these judges who are following the merits of the case, who are actually reading the law, who are actually looking into it, repeatedly we are seeing that there is no grounds for denying trans people access to these spaces because it is sex discrimination. Yeah, there's no law saying we can't exclude you specifically, except that the Ninth Amendment kind of does say that. Like, I do get frustrated that the Ninth Amendment is kind of ignored in these conversations a lot. Hold on. Let me find it for you. The Ninth Amendment, for those of you who are not familiar, says, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. So this is saying, we have written the Constitution. We have written certain rights into the Constitution, like you have the right to privacy, or you have the right to equal protection under the law, etc. The Ninth Amendment says, just because we didn't explicitly give you the right to do something in here, doesn't mean that you don't have the right to do that. Like, the fact that we didn't say you're explicitly allowed to trans your gender, it should not be construed to mean you don't have the right to do that. Yeah, originalism is just a legal theory to justify bigoted garbage, and when questioned, you go, well, shucks, the Constitution says so, not my fault. It's because it's all based on interpretations. You can construe the Constitution as saying one thing, and, like, whether that was their original intentions or not, you know. That may be the amendment that could reverse most of the newest SCOTUS rulings, including the overturn of Roe v. Wade. Well, yeah, that was the thing that was so frustrating about Roe v. Wade, is that they decided on the merits that the idea that your health care is private was an interpretation originally. Birth control was the very first time the 14th Amendment was evoked to mean that people's healthcare, like, they have a right to make their healthcare decisions. It's private. Like, the government can't limit it unreasonably. But yeah, like, the 9th Amendment definitely should be invoked on this. Just because it is not written into the Constitution that you have a right to get an abortion doesn't mean that you don't have a right to get an abortion, right? It's frankly like one of the most loosey-goosey amendments. You could frankly use it for a lot of things, I think. I'm curious how many Supreme Court cases have evoked the 9th Amendment. That's actually a question that I have. I don't know that I'm going to look into it right now, but I could certainly look into it later. I might look into it later. Anyway, we had some wins. And we're not sure how it's going to go on the Supreme Court level, but we did have some wins, so let's just, like, acknowledge and celebrate that, okay? And in the midst of us acknowledging and celebrating that, you should hit the like on the video, and you should share the video. And then also, I just want to remind you again, before we reach the end of the segment, that Patreon has a free tier now. So if you want, you can come check out the free stuff, and if you want, give a little dono. Get your name in the credits, or get access to the private vlogs or something. You know, we're going to have more and more content over there, both free and paid. Go check it out. No pressure. And that's it. Excuse me. If you want, you can come true. The Constitution doesn't say you have a right to a car, or a smartphone, or a ride on a private jet, Mr. Clarence Thomas. Later, Noah. I took Constitutional Law 1 and 2 as an undergrad. The 9th Amendment was not mentioned much in the cases we studied at all. Like, has the 9th Amendment been cited in court cases? Oh, interesting. The 9th Amendment has been cited hundreds of times by federal and state courts, but has rarely figured in Supreme Court decisions. In a few cases, the amendment provided general added support for specific constitutional rights. Trying to knock a glass off my desk, apparently. So, we do apparently have two noteworthy 9th Amendment Supreme Court cases. Wait, Griswold v. Connecticut? Wasn't Griswold v. Connecticut the birth control one? This was the birth control one. Griswold v. Connecticut. This is the original birth control one. Held that the right of privacy within marriage predated the Constitution. The ruling asserted that the First, Third, Fourth, and 9th Amendments also protect a right to privacy. Because it was like, many married couples came to Planned Parenthood for advice and assistance with birth control. The Connecticut statute read, any person who uses any drug, medicinal, article, or instrument for the purposes of preventing conception shall be fined not less than $50 or imprisoned not less than 60 days, nor more than 1 year. Yeah, so this is the original birth control case, which then the abortion thing was built on, where they invoked the 14th Amendment Equal Protection Clause. Or sorry, they evoked the First, Third, Fourth, and 9th Amendment. So maybe this was not a 14th Amendment thing. Or they're just asserting that, like, these also protect your right to privacy. Anyway. The anal sex industry really took a blow from that decision. Yeah, I would really like to see some more discussion about the 9th Amendment. I frankly, like, I wonder if that's like a legal video. Can I go, hey Devin. I'm gonna go typing. Hey Devin, can you tell me? Can you please tell me about the 9th Amendment and whether it will fucking save trans rights in this country and maybe abortion too. Oh, that's a really good point, Hypno. There are religious beliefs that separate classrooms by gender or which don't allow girls to learn at all. They are picking and choosing what religious beliefs they follow. Yeah, like are the Muslim students, that's a really good point that I wish I had included in the segment. Are the Muslim students' rights to education, like are they gonna be like, well, you shouldn't allow girls in the classroom? You know, my boys are gonna be distracted by your girls in the bathroom, or sorry, in the classroom, and I have a religious right for my son to not ever be around young girls. The problem is the court can just make rulings based off of their authority alone. Yeah. Mama. Anyway, those are all like the important segments that I had for today. Oh my god, I know the shoulders. It's lewd. Don't look at my don't look at my shoulders. It's lewd. Okay? You can't. You can't see it. You can't. If given a religious excuse, the Muslims could definitely use it. True, yeah. So, like, yeah, if you could make this argument that someone else's religious beliefs mean that you can or cannot be in a space, then yeah, we would definitely have maybe even Christians who are going to say, well, it's against my religious beliefs for girls to get an education, so therefore colleges in general should not admit girls. Like, let's roll it all the way back. Let's roll it all the way back. Anyway. It's warm in here. It's a little bit better now that my hair is up. We want to do poll quiz, econ values. I guess we still have time, and we're just gonna dick around a little bit. I might not even take the regular political compass test. I might just do this one. Let's just enjoy for a little while. Let's find out what kind of econ values I have, right? Cooperatives are better than traditional business models. Yeah, obviously I agree with that. We should pursue equality of outcome. So this is that question of like, are we ensuring equality of opportunity or equality of outcome? And like, equality of opportunity means that, you know, nepotism is okay and like people will fail and like it's not our fault when people end up starving and food insecure and like housing insecure and stuff. Equality of outcome means like everybody has the basics that they need and like everybody has an actual baseline to work from, you know? So yes, I agree. Equality of outcome. Land should not be taxed. Well, so that's an interesting question, isn't it? It's like I guess it presupposes an agreement with the concept of land ownership. Like, it sort of presupposes that, right? Doesn't it? Our culture has such a huge problem with nudity in general. It's true. Yeah, land... I don't know, man. Like, land should not be taxed. I guess... I feel like if you... Well... So it kind of makes sense to me to tax certain things, like luxury taxes make sense, you know, like where, you know, the government can like benefit from something directly in that way. Or like obviously you pay taxes when you drive for driving on the roads, you know, like I guess it would depend on what the land taxes are being used for. Like, does the land tax directly translate into local public parks? Because yes. The problem with land property taxes is that it's a barrier for poor people. Well, of course, yeah. So, like, even if you inherit land, literally the taxes are enough to make it to where you can't afford to, like, you know, maybe your grandparents gift you land and you could go over there and, like, build yourself a house or whatever, but like the taxes alone could be enough to prevent you from keeping the land that you were given. Like, that's the issue with like being gifted a house, is like, can you afford the property tax on that shit? So yeah, land, I guess I'm gonna go a soft agree that land should not be taxed on the basis that it's another barrier for poor people to land ownership. Just tax rich people's land. Exactly, Tormuz. The hiring and firing of workers should not be down to the whims of bosses. I mean, strongly agree. Is there even any question? Property taxes have been used as a way to evict whole neighborhoods. Guess who's overly affected by it when property values increase and taxes are raised? Yeah, is it black people? Most property tax usually goes to infrastructure and schools. Like, there is no federal property tax. It is a county-by-county basis. Yeah, and I mean, that's a problem, right? That schools are funded by local tax property tax. Property is theft, but also taxes are theft, so I don't think that personal property is theft. I would not agree with that position. Private schools should be abolished. Oh my god, strongly agree. They fucking suck. Monopolies, including state monopolies, should be avoided at all costs. I mean, yeah, I guess I'll give a soft agree to that one. There are many different kinds of private schools. Not all are bad. I don't think that education should be a for-profit system. So, like, I mean, yeah, like, it's like you get to pay for a better experience. Like, I have a family member who was in a Montessori school up until, like, 6th grade or something like that. And it was a great school. It was a great education. Like, Montessori is a great approach, and it was expensive for sure. But, like, I don't think that you should have an option to buy into a better education, you know? Like, I just don't think... Aren't there, like, private schools for the deaf and stuff? Well, okay, but the problem is relying on the private for-profit market to fill a need that the state should be able to do. Like, if we're gonna have schools and, like, public schools, then that as an institution needs to be funded well enough that it can address... Yes, we can have public schools for the deaf. Thank you. Exactly. What's up, Baby Squid? Later on. We'll see you. Hey, if you just came in, hit the like button. We're kind of just having fun right now. We've already talked about the serious topic, but if you don't want to hang out, that's cool. Hit like and then leave. No problem. And of course, yes, land taxes and property taxes are different. Yes, obviously. Like, the property tax on the house is different. But yeah, like, we could have public schools that still serve this need. Or, here's a fucking idea. What if you teach everybody how to communicate with deaf and blind people? Why don't you just integrate that into the public school system? If all the teachers know sign language, then it's not going to be a fucking problem. You don't need to segregate out students. We should have 10%. Isn't it like 10% of people have, like, hearing problems? Like, it's some crazy high number. Like, there's way more deaf people than you think there are. And not, like, fully deaf. 10% is not, like, fully deaf. But it's, like, much higher than you think it is. Yeah, anyway, so monopolies, including state monopolies, should be avoided at all costs. Yeah, I guess I'll just hit a soft agree. This post has been sponsored by Geosyndicalism Gang. True. Inheritance and estate taxes are unethical. So inheritance is like you receive an amount of money from your parents, and then it gets taxed. And then estate taxes are like, this person died, and there's a tax on, like, that. Like, property shift or something. So it's like, again, for people who are inheriting, like, $10,000 from their grandma, like, an inheritance tax is kind of a pain in the ass. Like, I guess I kind of think that should be handled more like a gift rather than being, like, a thing that they tax. Because, like, a gift isn't taxable. If my dad gave me $10,000, like, not assuming that he died and then I got $10,000 as part of the estate or inheritance or whatever, Like, if he just gave me $10,000, that's considered a gift, right? It's like the difference between getting a donation on stream versus getting a donation on GoFundMe. Like, the GoFundMe is a gift for a specific purpose, whereas donations during stream are like tips for my services, you know? They are legally distinct to each other. There are no inheritance taxes that I know of in the US. I am pretty sure that there are. But yeah, like, I don't think that they're fundamentally unethical, I guess. Like, I don't know. That's a hard question. I guess I'm just gonna agree, soft agree, that I feel like if you are inheriting something from your dead relative, you should not be concerned about taxing that income. Estate taxes start at like 13 million. Okay, well, yeah, if it's like 13 million, sure. Gifts under 13K per person, over that is taxed, sure. Inherited wealth is why reparations. Yeah, it's a whole conversation. Some level of inequality is necessary for society to function. I hard disagree. I don't think it's necessary at all. Productivity is not as important as providing jobs. This presupposes that I agree that the economy as it is, where people have to have jobs, is important. Like, this, sometimes you find you're like, this presupposes some things. This one definitely presupposes that jobs and making money and productivity are even factors in your ideal society, I guess. Productivity is not as important as providing jobs. I just think that both of these things are unimportant, so I think that I have to just say neutral. I think that both of these things... Yeah, it's proposing a bunch of false dichotomies that reflect a libertarian worldview. Yeah, I've never taken this one. It was just, y'all were talking about it in the Discord server earlier today. We should consider implementing a land value tax. I am not entirely sure how that differs from the other taxes that we were talking about earlier, so I'm just going to say neutral. People should be economically deterred from spending their money on useless products. This is asking me if I believe in luxury tax. Like, should be economically deterred from spending their money on useless products. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Again, I'm like falling back on, like, I think that we shouldn't have useless products. Like, that's where my beliefs are, is that we shouldn't have a bunch of useless products that were only made for the purpose of spending money on them. Like, I literally think that the modes of production are wrong, you know? This is the problem with being an anarchist. It's all the fucking avocado toast. Should be economically deterred from spending their money on useless products. Yeah, I can't agree with this. I disagree. I can't agree with that. There should be no central bank. Yeah, these are all economic values, huh? Gonna teach everyone the gospel of poggers and poverty. Amen. There should be no central bank. I don't know that I have a strong opinion about this. I don't really know what the consequences would be of there being a central bank, because we don't have one in the US. There is no central bank. There have been people who have advocated for expanding the services that the postal service provides. Or does this mean, like, the Federal Reserve? The reverse of that is that necessity should not be traced and everything else is. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. I'm just going to neutral on this one. Tax money should not fund the lifestyles of monarchs or aristocrats. I mean, yeah, obviously. The Federal Reserve acts like a capitalist-owned national bank. A society without rulers is desirable. Yes. We should attempt to consume local products as much as possible. I do agree with that. The government and big businesses collude to stomp out small-scale enterprises. I mean, that's objectively true. Central banks have super majority control over finances, which is why libertarians don't like it. Fair enough. Ideally, there would be many banks that form a large corpus of banks all directly and democratically run in a mutualist society. I feel like even, like, the word bank is so loaded because banks, like, approve and deny loans for housing. So, like, banks can be racist institutions, and they historically have been. You know, like, the idea of just having a place to put your money. Yeah, credit unions, exactly. Like, yeah, I could see I like credit unions. I've banked with credit unions before. They're, like, honestly, they have really low fees. They don't provide huge services. They'll do small loans, but yeah. Anyway, union membership should never be part of an employment contract. Fucking strongly disagree. I'm okay with union membership being, like, a requirement. Because fuck you if you think that you're gonna work at a job where the union protects you. And, like, the union, like, you get good pay. You get better pay because the union advocates for you. But you're not gonna pay membership dues? No, fuck you. The land belongs to the people. Strongly agree. The minimum wage should be abolished. Fuck no. Oh my god, are you kidding? There should in fact be a maximum wage in addition to the minimum wage being like 5 times higher than it is. Holy shit. Workers should negotiate for wages independently, not collectively. Strong disagree. Workers should not be given too much autonomy or they'll be lazy. Strong disagree. People actually work better when they are given some autonomy and they're not being micromanaged. All workplaces should be unionized. Fuck yes. Slave labor is justified if it's productive enough. What are you trying to discover here? What is it that you're trying to get here? Anyway. Price gouging during shortages is exploitative, obviously. TBH credit unions with current banking regulations function almost like banks. One of my local credit unions are bigger sharks than the bank I work for. My bank is still a bank and it's bad though still. Can someone explain to me what the difference is between a credit union and a bank? Because I was under the impression that credit unions basically just perform all the same services as a bank. But they're, like, less politically influential or something, question mark? I'm not sure. I've been thinking about this, though, because I am gonna be moving to fucking Washington and, like, figuring out what bank to use. Like, what's gonna be a good, like, should I ask around and be like, are there any good credit unions in Washington? Because one of the things that I'm kind of nervous about and I'm kind of scared about is, like, assets being frozen, you know? Like, if I were to bank at one of those big name banks, you know, when it's available, I guess I prefer, like, a local bank. Because I guess I'm just worried about, like, you know, Bank of America receiving an order from the government to shut down the accounts of all transgender individuals or, like, anyone who's ever changed their name on the account, or, like, sex workers. You know, I know that lots of banks are discriminatory against sex workers. Not that I necessarily plan to do sex work, but, like, yeah, I just have concerns that if I pick the wrong bank, that, like, my assets could be frozen. So that kind of makes me want to, like, keep more of my assets in cash, you know? Like, it makes me feel like I should have, like, $1,000 in cash stashed away somewhere. A credit union is a member-owned, nonprofit cooperative financial institution. Credit unions may offer financial services as commercial banks, such as share accounts, share draft accounts, credit cards, credit, share term certificates, and online banking. Okay, so it's about, like, they provide the same services, but it's about the dispersal of ownership. What's up, Brutus? We're chillin'. Like villains, repetitive work should be done by machines. Agree, repetitive work should be done by machines. Luxander sitting on a pile of gold like a dragon. Yeah, me goes into the backyard and, like, digs. You and Xena and Poppy have been streaming a lot, and I'm happy about that. Well, Brutus, I mean, I am on a schedule. I know that Xena and Poppy kind of just, like, have to stream when they feel well enough, but I stream consistently, fairly consistently, on Tuesdays and Thursday evenings, and on Sundays at noon Central Time. I'm gonna be slimming that down to only Tuesdays and Thursdays starting in September, but then I'll be back on my regular shit in November, and so I'll be here. I'm here several times a week. Credit unions are owned and backed by the corporation. A bank is part of a private banking corporation that allows federal regulations left over from FDR, that follows federal regulations from FDR. FDIC backs both up to $200,000 in accounts. All of them are funded by debt. They all invest your money. We have fiat currency and a debt economy thanks to the Federal Reserve. Fair enough. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, handmade products are usually of a better quality than machine-made alternatives. Well, so this is an interesting degrowth question, isn't it? You know, like, I bought a basket recently, which was very clearly like a mass-produced thing. Maybe even a machine put it together. But, like, yeah, I would like to see more handmade stuff. Not necessarily because I think that they would be a better quality, but because I think that I support some amount of degrowth. In that, I do think that I want to see... Like, I would love to learn basket weaving, you know? One of the things that I find kind of annoying about it is that when I went to start learning about it, they were saying, oh, you need to buy this very specific thing. And I was like, well, that's kind of not the point of this. Like, part of the point of this is, like, can I go out and find something and then make something out of it? But I guess when I first learned basket weaving, I'm gonna have to specifically buy some material that's like the right length and everything to do. But yeah, so that's an interesting question. Do I think handmade products are usually of a better quality than machine-made alternatives? But then again, mass production of certain items does mean that human hands are free to do creative things instead of making things that are necessary. So yeah, that's kind of an interesting question. I wonder sometimes if someone who writes these questions can anticipate the, like, ways in which people will overthink them. Anyway, handmade products are usually of a better quality than machine-made alternatives. I don't think they're usually of a better quality. It's basically artisan versus large business, and often the quality can be better and also helps out small businesses and may also waste less. Sure, sure. Without property rights, there are no rights at all. Disagree. If capitalism exists at all, its worst effects should be mitigated by welfare. So, like, if we're granting that capitalism exists, its worst effects should be mitigated by welfare. Yeah, of course. A general strike could be used to improve society. Yes, strong agree. You can start with thin willow branches if there are any in your area, soak them in water overnight, and then you can start weaving a basket with them. You can even use the ground as your first loom. That's true. Yeah, willow branches... I was thinking in terms of, like baskets and straw and stuff, but, like, I guess those would not be... Like, a straw basket would not be super durable. It would be flexible, though. Some people are better suited to make economic decisions than others. I think that some people are better suited to make all kinds of decisions than other people. You can use pine needles and thread. Thread? Thread for a basket? Thread. What are you doing with thread? Ooh. I guess, like, since I've already flexed, it's not a big deal if I flex later in the stream, too. Ooh, look at that, baby. Anyway. Yeah, so I guess on the grounds that a lot of different people have a lot of different skills, but I still think that these should be made collectively. Like, I still don't think that certain people should be making these things unilaterally or whatever. I don't know. Soft agree. Rent is a form of theft. Fucking strong agree, dude. Collective bargaining reduces the autonomy of an individual worker. Nope. People who are dumb with money are overpunished and preyed upon. Yeah, I literally was working with someone who got a payday loan while I was working with her. And I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, that wasn't, like, the biggest, most obvious scam. It ruined her, as far as I know. Companies should not hire or fire people based on factors like race or gender. Well, so that's a tricky thing. Because, like, firing people based on factors like race or gender obviously is bad, but we hire people based on race or gender because they are underemployed and underrepresented in the workforce. So, yeah, clipped. How dare you clip me? As long as it is a voluntary decision, rent is not theft. Oh, no, Canis. No. Okay. If we had a system in which this wasn't super fucking predatory or whatever, like, okay, if we just grant that, like, you are, like, having to pay money for this thing in the first place, like, the fact is that people are trapped in rent situations. It's coerced. It's not a voluntary decision if you literally have to have a place to live and if you are being suppressed out of your ability to buy a house. Like, you literally don't have the option to not have a place to live. You are legally not allowed to live in your car. You are legally not allowed to live in your car. So yeah, no, it's fundamentally, like, it's coercion and it's theft for sure, without question to me. Profiting from rent is money from simply owning something. It can't be consensual. Yeah. No, rent is theft. Like, make a real fucking argument if you're gonna disagree with me. You know? Because it's never a voluntary decision. Renting is never voluntary. It's never voluntary. It's literally never voluntary. In this system that we have, you have to have a place to live. Yeah, people who have been homeless, they'll have cops tell you that you have to leave the area at night or you get arrested. You don't have the option to live in a tent because it's illegal. You don't have the option to live in your car because it's illegal. If you then don't have the option to buy a house because of racial discrimination or because you don't have enough money, if the renter makes life easier to the point where someone will choose it over buying a house, that would be consensual. If we live in an ideal situation, like a perfect society where a person could afford to buy a house, but they are choosing to rent an apartment because they're only going to live here for 1 year while they're in college and then they're going to move. Like, okay, but that's fucking imaginary. That's like playing pretend in order to justify the concept of renting. Like, that's like you're masturbating to the idea of, like, an equal world. Rent should be a thing, but I think it should be based on your income, means tested. I just fundamentally think that charging people for a place to live is fucked up. If we abolished rent, that person could get a year's worth of equity at the end. Right. Like, you're paying for someone else to have equity in their portfolio, you know? Anyway, companies should not hire or fire people based on factors like race or gender. My roommates abandoned me after not paying rent, and because of the contract with the property management, I had no legal standings. Oh my god, that's fucking insane. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna say neutral because I don't like the question. Humans will always want to work. Super true. We always want to be doing stuff. There should be no managers with authority over workers. I guess I'll soft disagree because I guess, like, that can be a type of justified hierarchy, right? Like, that could be a form of hierarchy where you, like, agree that having one person scheduling and managing tasks, but it's also like, what the fuck do you mean by manager? Manager is a, like, loose term in this thing. Like, yeah, do you have someone who makes the schedule and who is like, hey, I'm gonna ring the bell, like, it's time, like, you know, you're finished with this task, can you move on to this task? Like, having someone who keeps you on track, that is a type of management that I'm okay with, but there are, like, other types of management that are fucking annoying, so I guess I'm gonna soft disagree, because I think that the idea of management on its own is not necessarily bad, but the way that we do it is. Excuse me. We should intervene to reduce the production of harmful goods. Yeah, of course. The economy should be centrally planned. No. Consumerism has had a positive effect on modern economies. God, no. Environmental regulations should be abolished. Jesus Christ, no. Decentralized economies are inefficient. You are so right. This is such a libertarian quiz. Like, should fucking environmental regulations be suspended? Oh, there's 50 people in here. I didn't know there were going to be 50 people in here watching me take a political compass test. Hit like if you want to. If I could get to 100 likes today, that would be lit. But I don't know that I will. But you can try. You can try. Thank you. Thank you, babes. On average, dispersed camping is up to 10 miles from many towns. Rent is a complete crock. If every person had a free warm room to stay in, like a big closet even, to be safe at night and leave some of their things, I would allow for rent to possibly exist on some level after that. I just don't see us getting there very fast. If you're a tenant who pays for the maintenance of the property, if the landlord has no income to pay for repairs, on the other hand, it's a feudalistic situation. Yeah. I was a market socialist when I made the quiz. Okay, fair enough. The payment portal for my place does not accurately reflect what I owe on my apartment. I pay my rent online, and the thing that they host the rent payments, it was like before I could pay with my card or I could pay with my bank account direct deposit. And I was paying with my bank account because there were no fees associated with it. But now they're like, oh, by the way, even though we are doing, even though it's still through your bank account, we've just decided to start charging like a $3 fee to process this online. I'm like, I will literally fucking take the time to take a check to your office because this is the stupidest fucking shit. Like, you're gonna start charging me payment processing shit after I've already fucking lived here for like 7 months? Goodness gracious. Switch back to this for a second. Ugh. I'm gonna drink more water. Drink more. Whoa, someone tagged me in my Discord server. What happened? Someone tagged me. There's food? Oh, kitchen stuff. Okay, cool. Neat. I just think they're neat. This entire quiz is, do you agree/disagree with libertarian position, or do you agree/disagree with libertarian strawman of socialist position? Fair enough. I recently got hit with years worth of late fees that I did not even know about at my rental. They called me and were like, if you don't set up a payment plan, we'll just have to evict you. Man, fucking suck my dick, dude. Yeah, it's like, are you gonna start charging me a processing fee for this online payment? I will literally make you work more by fucking making you take in a check to the bank. Except that I'm not gonna kick up a shit because I'm fucking moving out in a couple months, or like basically I'm gonna start moving out like this month. Anyway. What I hate is having to decide 2 months ahead of time to renew your lease or risk not being able to have a place lined up, thereby getting trapped in the lease. Honestly, like I had, you know, like my lease is up like at the end of November, but they wanted me to tell them by August 1st whether I was going to be renewing my lease or not. Like literally 3-4 months before my lease was going to be up, they wanted me to know, they wanted to tell them whether I was going to stay or not. A lot of businesses are being allowed to offset their merchant services payment options cost onto their customers instead of paying the cost of doing business themselves. I'm not sure what regulation changed that allows that. Yeah, like why are you... I've seen some crazy shit on like landlord websites and stuff recently where they're, you know, some guy was saying that like he charges for the lock change after you move out. Like part of your security deposit when you move in is meant to pay for having the locks changed when you move out. And it's like, no, you dumb fucking cocksucking stupid piece of shit. That's fucking your job. That's like regular shit in the apartment. My security deposit is supposed to pay for damage that I do to the unit, not like to account for your fucking regular costs of business. You cannot have 100% profit. You cannot charge the customer for literally every fucking aspect of this. That's insane. The total was $416, and I literally live on $200 in food stamps. Did you tell them to, like, provide you with documentation for where it says in your lease? This can't be a policy, Knox. This has to be a lease. Not to mention that after the first year of my lease, they changed me month to month instead of asking me to renew the year-long lease. Oh, yeah, great. So then, like, you have the month-to-month insecurity of, are they just gonna decide to kick me out, and then I only have, like, 2 weeks to figure out a place to live? Holy shit, I would fucking die. Decentralized economies are inefficient. I don't know, man. Large-scale organizations can increase efficiency? I don't think so. I think that overall, large-scale organizations have significantly decreased efficiency. Gambling should be legal. I kind of feel like gambling, if you're, like, rolling dice in the alley with your other dock worker friends or something, you know, like, that should be legal. But do I think there should be a gambling, industry? No. But that's two different questions. I don't think that gambling should be illegal, but I don't think that there should be a legally sanctioned, like, industry of it. So how the fuck do I answer this question? I don't think that gambling should be illegal. It's like, I guess soft degree gambling should be illegal. There should not be an industry involved, though. It's gotta be low stakes, you know? Like, you shouldn't be able to gamble all of your belongings. Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yes, when I say can't, I meant like emotionally and morally. You can't charge people for your cost of business bullshit, you know? But like legally, I guess as a landlord, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Oh my god, but Candace, what you're doing is you're making up a bunch of bullshit. You're inventing a situation in which rent could be fine. But like, I just think that the entire concept, like, of renting is, like, presupposes that you should pay for housing at all. And so, like, do I think you should pay for housing at all? No. I don't know how the process should work if you want to own land, but I don't know that I think that you should be able to own it. Like, I don't actually know how I feel about that. Ow. Anyway. Profits made by a company should be shared amongst its employees. Strongly agree. Strikes should be used to achieve better working conditions. Yes. When someone dies, their possessions and wealth rightfully belong to their next of kin. Is this a question? Is there ever a question? I guess there is, like, an emotional difference between, like, small scale and large scale things on all of these things. Like inheritance tax. If you're getting, like, $10,000 from your grandma who died, I don't think you should pay for inheritance. Oh, thank you so much, Spirit, for the $10 dono. Bed's calling, but thanks for an engaging couple of hours. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's another flex. Wow, there's another mini one. Thank you so much. Much, much appreciated. Now we have exceeded the goal by a good amount. God bless America. Yeah, but, like, so... But do I think that if you inherit, like, $1 billion from your dad who just died, do I think that there should be an estate tax on that? Yeah. You're right, I'm rent cucked. I feel like who is designated by the dead person should outweigh kin. Yeah, like, I think that when someone dies, their possessions and wealth should rightfully belong to whomever they've declared. That's another reason why it's very libertarian. They never make the distinction between large and small scale and have a tendency to flatten power dynamics. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, Knox, like, you might look into, like, if there is a tenants union in your area who could direct you. Because, like, I feel like if it's not very clearly laid out in your lease and they have a clear indication of, like, it says that you have to pay, and if not, then you'll get a late fee. Like, this should not have been a surprise to you. I'm guessing that they made some bullshit up. And, like, so you might even look into getting, like, a tenancy lawyer to protect you, because there's, like, if you're living on, like, $200 a month and, like, food stamps, there's no fucking way. Excuse me. No, everybody's dead. Everybody who's dead should have their gold go to me. True. I am gonna hoard all of the gold. Give it all to me, and I will just sit on it. I will just make a bed. I'll get my horns. I'll get my fucking wings, and I'm just gonna like. I'm just gonna go goblin. I'm goblin mode. I'm sitting on top. Yeah, I just imagine I've got the wings and the horns because I don't have them right now. They're in the other room, and I'm not gonna go get them. I'm like, and you are not allowed to take my gold. It's mine. Anyway, I have officially gone goblin mode. Officially goblin mode. Anyway, yeah, I agree, sure. We should aim to achieve an automated economy as fast as possible. It was supposedly from when COVID was happening. I was trying to get help for my mental health, and it went nowhere. Well, yeah, but like what I'm saying, Nox, is that you should not agree to pay for this until it's not supposedly. It needs to not be supposedly. There needs to be documentation. There needs to be documentation of you owing money. Documentation in your lease of late fees and stuff, you know? Like, I don't want you to pay for this on a supposedly. Like, you need to make them prove to you that you owe this money. Automation is bad under capitalism, but good under socialism. Exactly. Yeah, like an automated economy. What does that mean? What does automated economy mean? Like, economy is such a big word that there's like 7 different words for the different ways that economy can be used in like German, you know? Back when I rented, the landlords used to try to tell me what was on a page before I signed it so that I wouldn't read it. I definitely read every single page while they got increasingly frustrated. When I moved into this place, they didn't do that, where they went over it with me in person. They had me sign my lease online, which meant that I had as much time as I wanted to read the entire thing. So, like, yeah, we should, an automated, like, what do you mean by that? The work being automated, or, like, the fucking stock market being automated, or... I don't know, man. Disagree. Bosses usually know what's best for their workers. Holy shit, no. Education should be free and universal, yes. An individual's role in society should be inherited from their parents. Fuck no. The right to own property is absolute. No. Price fixing will lead to shortages. Fuck you. A flat tax is preferable to a progressive tax. Fuck you. Price fixing will lead to shortages. Wait, didn't I already answer that? Oh, wait. What happened? Oh, I hit back a couple times by accident. A flat tax is preferable to a progressive tax. Yeah, fuck you. Some jobs should be reserved for people born into higher class families. No. We must make sure everyone has enough to live, even if that negatively affects the economy. Yes. Unions are not the solution to economic problems. False. Healthcare should never be free. False. Independent labor unions should not be allowed to exist. False. Workers should come together to form one big union. Oh, so this is an interesting question. Automated economy is when all human labor is replaced by robots and AI. Well, but it means different things to different people, right, Forrest? Like, literally the word economy means different things in different contexts, in different conversations. Yeah, one might say something like, a Soviet Union. Dun, dun, dun. Dictatorship of the proletariat. Yeah, like, this is an interesting question. Should workers come together to form one big union? I guess that's an agree, because, you know, one of the things that kind of sucks is that, you know, different unions are cut off from each other's labor power. And if you do have sometimes unions will strike in solidarity with other unions, or like will at least honor their picket lines. So it's like you might as well just have one big union. People who choose not to work should not expect support from society. Strong disagree. Prices should be determined by supply and demand. No. The union would be made of smaller unions who directly and democratically control them. Yeah, I mean, it would definitely have, like, of course it has, you know, local chapters in the way that any fucking national union does. If someone is first to claim an area of land, they are entitled to profit from it. Disagree. Since machines work at a lower cost than humans, we should embrace them. I mean, it's... Again, I think that we should embrace machine work for some things because human beings should be free to make art and do other shit. I don't think that we should embrace machine work because they cost less. For other reasons. For other reasons. No, you're not getting it. My thing is different. Yeah, I think we should embrace them. Taxes should be raised on the rich to provide for the poor. Strong. Agree. We should pursue equality of opportunity. No. Nobody should profit from natural resources which they didn't earn. Agree. Certain services like roads and public transportation should be run by the state. I think if the alternative is a privatized system, then that's bad. You know? Wait, no equality of opportunity? Does that mean something else? Oh, so Forrest, you missed it earlier. We talked about this a little bit. People present a dichotomy. Okay, shut up. I'm going to explain it, okay? The dichotomy that is presented between equality of opportunity and equality of outcome, these are the two things that get presented as though they are in conflict with one another. So Republicans tout equality of opportunity, meaning like, oh, you know, we give all these people the opportunity, you know, we give them like the chance to go to school. We give them the chance to start a business and take those risks or whatever. But equality of opportunity means you have the opportunity to fail and then not be supported in your failure, right? Like, equality of opportunity is the opposite of equality of outcome in this presentation, where equality of outcome means we try to make sure that everybody has the very basics. Like, this is basically it's fundamentally the question between a system of economy or whatever where like money can get siphoned up to the top versus like a system that forcibly redistributes those resources so that everybody has basically the same stuff. Outcome is not some time in a person's life you can point at unless you mean death. Equality of opportunity needs to be maintained throughout a person's life. But that's not how this framework is used, y'all. This framework, like, outcome, obviously, yeah, like, everybody fucking dies. But, like, the idea is that, like, if you're focused more on equality of opportunity, then that means that you're not concerning yourself with outcome, meaning like, oh, everybody has the opportunity to go to school if they can afford it, rather than guaranteeing that everyone has equality of outcome in that they all, well, yeah, it's a false, yeah, sure, obviously it's a false dichotomy, but I'm just saying, like, you know, the ability to answer the question is predicated on your knowledge of the, like, yeah, there's a hidden meaning. Exactly. Thank you, Shade. Yes. Yeah. My point is that outcome is meaningless here. Sure. Yeah. So, like, the equality of opportunity means, you know, someone could break out and get fucking big rich, you know, could really, you know, knock it out of the park and earn all the money. Education being universal would grant an equal opportunity. I think that you're fundamentally just lacking context for understanding what this means. Like, if you want to play word games about what opportunity means, sure, but that's not like the framework that it's being presented to you. It's a dog whistle. Like, this is like when I hear equality of opportunity, I hear an old white racist man giving a talk to a room full of like underprivileged kids who are never going to be able to afford to go to college. You know, like, that's what I hear in my mind. Like, we want to give you the opportunity. It's revealing that conservatives would think equality of opportunity would not statistically lead to equality of outcome. Yeah, because at the end of the day, they really aren't affording you the opportunity to be successful. I think you're assuming things about how the test uses your answers. Okay, spoiler, I don't actually fucking care about that at all. Like, I have no idea what result this is going to have at the end of the test. Like, I'm more interested in having the discussion about the ideas. And, like, the fact is that the premise of opportunity versus outcome, like, is an existing framework. And that, you know, maybe when you wrote the test, you didn't understand maybe fully the, like, context of that. But, like, the question is a lot more intense than people might think. The idea that society should just give up on you at some point is ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, that's part of it, too. I was 18 when I wrote it. Yeah, I mean, if you were 18, yeah. Someone in the YouTube chat helped make this test. Yes. People talk about entitlements in government as a bad thing because they've co-opted the wording to make dog whistles that are hidden racist remarks. Exactly. Okay, so certain services like roads and public transportation should be run by the state. If the alternative is private roads, then yes. But also, like, more funding should be put into it, so. Top-down structures for organizations work best. I don't think so. Unemployment caused by technology can be a good thing, as people will have to work fewer hours. Yeah, that's a really good thing. Landlords provided... fuck you. People have a right to occupy and use unused land, even if it's owned by someone. I mean, yeah, sure. In the future, all the work people don't want to do will be mechanized. Sure. The economy should be organized on the local level. Yeah, I think so. We should try to achieve full employment. No. Universal basic income is a good idea. Yes. There should be rules to prevent the common people acquiring wealth. What? Oh, is something going on my phone? What are you doing? Emails. We should direct the economy away from the production of luxuries. Sure. Machines should be destroyed to prevent workers losing their jobs. No. What? What is produced should not be down to the whims of the market. Yes. Organized labor should be used as the primary vehicle for political change. I mean, sure. Government-run industry is superior to existing alternatives. I guess this is from a long time ago, so the co-op is not an existing alternative? I don't know. Disagree. Work makes people stronger. I mean, I guess objectively, that's true. Employment should be guaranteed. No. Co-ops are included. Yeah, because the first question had something to do with co-ops. Charities only help the weak and should be eliminated. I don't think that they should be eliminated because they only help the weak, but rather that this is once again like privatizing something that should be under the public dominion. People should not be allowed to trade human organs. I agree. Intervention in the market is permissible to correct market failures. Sure. The freer the market, the freer the people? Not necessarily. Central AI should determine the allocation of resources. Disagree. Cryptocurrencies are superior to fiat currency. Nope. Workers should have more of a say in the workplace. Yes, more people should aim to be self-employed. I don't know. Damn, Lux, are you against me trading my cock and balls to a trans mask in need? Yeah, no organ trafficking. You are not allowed to donate the body parts. And listen, that means that I don't get the cock and balls. If you wanted to give them away, I wouldn't be able to accept them either. I know, it's terrible, isn't it? More people should aim to be self-employed. I mean, it's great to be self-employed. I really enjoy it. But, I don't know that that should be what we aim for, per se. I'm just going to go neutral on that one. Anyone should have the opportunity to gain a position of authority. Oh, no. A stratified class system is desirable. No. Inherited estate should be the basis for economic relations. No. Landlords can be good when they allow people to save up to buy their own home. Oh, well, that's... I've been offered so much booba. The trans masks are like, take the booba. It's for you to have it now. Oh my god. Just smacked myself in the boob. To be fair, I don't think everybody wants to be self-employed. Yeah, I mean, it's hard in its own way. I have to be my own boss. Listen, on the days when I just feel like shit and I don't want to work, I have to make myself do it, you know? Can they be good? No. Are they capable of doing good things sometimes? Yeah. Are they No. Tenants unions are a good idea, yes. Common ownership of land is preferable to common ownership of capital. I don't know why these are set up in opposition to each other. Common ownership of land is preferable to common ownership of capital. I don't know, I'm just going to disagree with that one. I'm getting tired. We should return to a feudal society. We should attempt to establish socialism. Capitalism has massively improved the world. The state should control all aspects of the economy. No. Okay. I don't necessarily know what any of this is gonna mean. Yeah, baby. I need it to be smaller so I can see more of it at one time. Incentive access is equal. I lean toward equity rather than competition. Structure access. I lean toward a horizontal structure rather than a hierarchical structure. Are we surprised? Intervention access on the regulatory. I'm more on the side of regulation rather than on the side of demand. Centralization access, disunited, yes. I lean more toward the local level rather than the centralized level. Industrialized, I guess I'm right in the middle between, like, automation and employment, but again, a lot of those questions were really weird. I think I like capitalism better than feudalism. True. Georgism, more for the commons and less for rent, of course. Mobility, birthright, not very much. Merit, more, I guess. Syndicalist, I'm more of a syndicalist. Unionized versus divided. Closest match is Deleonism. There we go. So that's fun. No surprises here. I think capitalism has improved the world, but I think it can be improved a lot more by not capitalism. Like, I think capitalism is better than feudalism. Well, so there's like a question there about, like, what do you mean by improved? This is the thing. This is why this is why nobody wants to debate me. Okay, here's the thing. This is why you're all so weak. All you right-wingers and you transphobes out there, you're fucking weak. Because you know that the first part of the discussion is gonna be getting our goddamn definitions on track. Okay? What do you mean by improved? You know? Like, and when you say capitalism has improved the world, I want you to keep in mind that the way of life that we enjoy in the United States is built on literal slavery the world over. This thing right here, slave labor. Slave labor. Cobalt, slave labor. Like, oh my god, I'm trying not to crush. I got some cute new jewelry today and I don't want to crush it. Anyway, yeah, like, I'm not saying it's cool or good, I just think it's better than feudalism. Well, I mean, the question is, like, did it improve the world from what the world was like then? I would argue no. Like, something can be better than something else and also not be good. Capitalism has lifted millions out of poverty to be exploited. Wait, what? Yes, by improved, I mean raised global temperatures. Just did my E-shot. Yo, fucking dabs. Boo, 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 boo. Is dabbing a type of flexing? Could I flex and dab at the same time? Not really. Flexing is more of a bent arm activity. Flex. Dabs. Wah! Anyway. I'll debate you one day. I guess technically, Venusia and I have sort of debated with some of y'all in chat before. Capitalism is an essential stepping stone towards socialism. Suck my dick, Canis. You can't say that. Like, it's not even possible for you to say that. And, like, Marx said that. Yeah, okay, but like, do we also think that socialism is even a good idea on its own? Like, do we really think, I guess we needed the stepping stone of horrendous capitalism before we get to socialism? Like, like, I guess the argument is that there needed to be a stepping stone away from feudalism toward, like, a socialist or anarchist, like, framework. Just because Marx said it doesn't mean that he's correct. Okay? He's not the god of socialism. I wish bifurcated sleep was accepted instead of convincing everyone 8 straight hours of sleep is normal thanks capitalism. I actually don't know that ever got substantiated. I'd rather live within capitalism than feudalism. In some ways, I kind of feel like at least feudalism is honest about what you are within that system. You know, like capitalism tricks you into thinking that you are an agent who is capable of making voluntary choices, and you're just not. Like, you are a serf in that way. You have to work or you will die. You have to live in certain places relative to your work. Like, you know, back then, feudalism, it's like, okay, there's a lord and you live on his land and you have to work his land in order to live there, you know? Like, it is the same system, except now it's like, it's just feudalism with extra steps, you guys, you know? Like, as far as your actual material conditions, the only thing that capitalism gave you was, like, I guess you could argue that capitalism didn't even, I don't know. Could you even say that capitalism gave you fucking running water? Like, I don't know. I just feel like the like material conditions are not that different. You still are subject to the rule of people that you may or may not have put into power over you. You mostly are subject to the laws of the place where you were born. You are mostly required to work somewhere near where you were born. Like, the mobility to leave is vanishingly few. There's still, like, factionalism amongst the ruling powers. And, like, power consolidation amongst the ruling powers. Capitalism gave us Crocs in the Barbie movie. True. I need to see... Whoa, I'm just gonna smack myself in the teeth. I need to see the Barbie movie. I need to see it. Because it's probably really good. But I'm not going to... By this logic, all systems are equally bad and they're just not... Are you fucking listening to, like, any of the words that I actually said? Capitalism builds productive forces enough to advance the economy. I'm not arguing socialism cannot be achieved in non-industrialized states. Fair enough. People assume that innovation and progress can't happen under bad systems, but they can, as capitalism is not omnipotent. Yeah. Like, I do think that, like, technological advances continued to happen and probably would have continued to happen even if resources were not distributed in this, like, fucked up way. You know what I mean? Anyway. Wasn't capitalism actually created by lords trying to hold on to their power? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I kind of haven't studied it in a while. Like, I haven't looked into it in a while. Yeah, technological development and capital development are slightly different. You're saying capitalism has exploitation and feudalism has exploitation, therefore equally bad. But that's like saying Sweden and Russia are equally bad because they both have internal corruption. I don't think that you listened to what I said at all. Because I didn't just say that it has exploitation, I described the type of exploitation and how they are the same. Scale, proportion, and possibility of change are factors. Okay, everyone in America is born in a place where they are required to pay taxes, and, like, they don't get to choose who they're paying taxes to. They have to amass a huge amount of wealth in order to be able to move to a new place, because moving costs money, and fucking security deposits cost a lot of money. Like, the manner in which you are exploited is the fucking same. Like, it's literally the same. And it's that, like, myth of equality of opportunity that makes you think that it's different. Your outcome can be guessed with, like, 90% accuracy based on your zip code. Exactly. I'm talking about the system's ability to change, not the individual's. No. I mean, like, so, yeah, that's, like, if you want to imagine that you live in a world where it's, like, not, like, every single major decision about the, like, trajectory of the planet is not determined by, like, 5 super rich people, like, you can imagine that you live in that world and that it's fundamentally different in the way that it will change. There is no equity in capitalism, but it's nowhere near as gruesome day to day as feudalism. Have you ever worked in a kitchen, my dude? Have you ever been homeless? Like, the day to day gruesomeness. Like, people literally worked less during feudalism. Like, honestly, let's talk about that. You literally, hour per hour for over the course of the week, people worked less during feudalism. So there are some ways in which it is quite literally, like, more gruesome and fucked up now. At least back then, like, you know, you would, like, take the winter off and still be and still guaranteed a place to live. Yeah, I'm defending feudalism now. Capitalism is so bad that I'm now defending feudalism. I don't think capitalism creates equality of opportunity. I just think the quality of life is a little bit better under capitalism than feudalism. I mean, I think that we think this because of the technological difference between now and then. Like, I really, truly think... Yeah, also, who gives a shit if feudalism is worse? We can do better. Yeah, like, feudalism was based on the obligations and relations among the lords, vassals, and fief. Those 3 formed the basis of feudalism, whilst in capitalism, the main goal is just making more and more profits. The ideas behind the systems are different. They're both about power consolidation. 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 I agree we can do better, but the question was asking if capitalism improved the world from feudalism. Did it actually invoke feudalism, the question on the test? Or did it just ask, did capitalism improve the world? I kind of skipped past that one very quickly. Oh god. Interesting. Hitting the back button brought me to a totally different page. Oh god, it's gonna make me go through the whole thing again. I can't backtrack to, like, the last 10 questions. Hey, Christy. Hey, how are you, Gorge? Wasn't there a system in between the two? Yeah, I'm not sure. This community is at its worst when we talk about economics. Get the fuck out of here, Venusian. You said you were going to bed. I need to get fucking dinner going. Soon. I believe it just asked if capitalism improved the world, and we inferred from feudalism. Yeah, capitalism has continually needed to be supported by socialist policies. Yeah. Capitalism is, you know, propped up by a lot of socialist, you know, policies. Came at a very chill moment in stream. Capitalism, let's fucking go. Yeah, I just took a big, long, fucking quiz, you know? Sometimes people say mercantilism came between feudalism and capitalism. Mercantilism popping off between feudalism and capitalism. We wank, and we wank, and we wank, and we wank. Okay, I'm ready to go. I have been going for almost 4 hours. This is kind of a long stream for me. And I am going to eat dinner now. You should also eat dinner, or go to bed, or whatever you're gonna do, because it's 9 o'clock where I'm at. So be good, and I will see you all on Sunday, unless something happens, in which case I will not see you on Sunday. And you just have to deal with that, and live with it, okay?